What up, though? It's your boy, the Sage of Six Blocks. This is Hood Ninja Gaming, and we're back. We're not playing, but we're reacting. FancyOrb, 1,000 Rust players simulating civilization. Go follow FancyOrb on YouTube. Get a pen, get a piece of paper, because you're going to be seeing a shit ton of content creators in this video. Write their names down. They all deserve a look at. They all deserve to have you guys check them out. Okay, we're going to start this off. This is usually something I would be watching like on my own, but you know, I decided to watch it with you guys. So here we go. We're going to jump this off. FancyOrb, Rust players. Let's get it. Let's see how you guys did.
In this social experiment, we gathered 1,000 Rust players and put them on a replica map of the Earth to simulate civilization. Now, the most interesting part about this is that most of these players are representing their actual countries in-game, which is going to make this experiment extremely immersive. You're gonna see politics play out at United Nations meetings, massive wars between rival countries, and eventually everyone fighting as we introduce nuclear bombs to the server. Now, there's no rules or guidelines for these players. They can create their own countries, conquer territories, or if it comes down to it, starting world wars. So, with that being said, let me introduce you to the map and our characters for this video.
Get your pens and papers out.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is FancyOrb, and I'm not just going to give you a YouTube video. This is a movie. As you watch this video, I'm going to give you actual character developments, plot twists, and a storyline to follow, because what you're about to witness is unscripted cinema from a live event that these players created.
Amazing. Rust players, they always get props from me.
This is Global Warfare 2.
They do when they get together, amazing. Real stories,
At the start of the event, all players spawn across the 7 continents. However, there was one tiny island out in the middle of nowhere called Hangaroa, which had a 0.1% chance at spawning there.
Hello? Where is everyone?
Oh, shit.
Now, the most important part about this event is claiming your land. Everyone wants to colonize the popular countries, so as I flew around the server, players began chopping down trees, placing land claims, and building their civilizations. So, let's go visit our first characters in Africa.
Wow. Here we go.
Meet the king of Africa, Coconut B.
Coconut
What's the plan right now, Hondo? What are we doing?
Farming up for base, buddy.
Use me up. Give me a tool. I'll go farm.
Every civilization needs a leader, and the people of Africa respected Coco. They were the first civilization to colonize Africa, which means they had this entire continent to explore, and this place was beautiful. Now, Africa is the richest continent out of the 7 because just like in real life, Africa is known for being rich in resources. Here you can find more resource nodes and 3 different mining quarries, which is extremely profitable for the players. Coco and his team built in a rainforest near a pond of water and began chopping down the forest to build their civilization. But soon, they would discover the most crucial part about Africa, the giant excavator pit.
Oh man, bro, that's where all the resources at.
Now, the one downside of living on the richest continent is that the whole world knows that you've got loot. And ironically enough, it was the British who decided they wanted to colonize Africa. You see, England wasn't the best area to live in due to its lack of materials, so they decided to travel all the way to the east side of Africa and take control of the giant excavator. This was the biggest mine in Africa, right in the heart of this continent, and the British were pretty much saying, step aside, it's ours now. I witnessed them travel all the way to Africa with a navy fleet, and once they arrived, they stormed the beaches to start colonizing this land. Once they had their target in sight, they wasted no time in taking the giant excavator. This world is filled with opportunities for the players, and the British knew that conquering the strongest quarry on the server would make them rich. However, the natives of Africa watched this in the background and silently witnessed their land being taken from them. And if there's one thing you should know about these players, it's that they're aggressive, and they weren't just gonna let the British take their land.
Oh no, it's about to go down.
Africa believed in protecting this land from colonizers who were trying to exploit their mining quarries. So, the people of Africa followed Coconut B's lead in this fight.
We're gonna fight for this.
Coconut B, got him crashing out.
On the hill, on the hill. Guard! Double down.
Oh yeah.
Get in there, get in there. Just rush up. Climb. Call me on bridge. Call me on bridge.
He's a
Man.
shot. Go.
These fights are wild.
Go up. Up.
Africa not only stole the giant excavator back from the British, but now they have their guns, which is going to help Africa fight future battles. Territories are a big factor in this event. Everyone wants the good monuments and land so their countries can become more powerful. But this would be the start of the African War.
I think that was
Wow.
Max Mears.
You have to realize, Rust is first person.
Now, throughout this video,
So
I'll be showing you
everybody
this map
sees
with all our
things just from
characters,
first
but for
person
your
view.
viewing experience, I'll put a number over each character's head to display how powerful they are, and the number will go up and down as countries win and lose battles. So to start, we'll give Coco a power of 50, while the British Templars are at a 30. Now, let's go see what's happening over in North America.
First thing I
By
think was
far,
the
the most
McDonald's.
populated country here was the United States because it was separated into 4 different factions. The first being Florida, then New York, California, and a really weird trailer park in Kentucky.
Play Dr. Goose with us.
The United States was meant to be a prosperous country with having the military tunnels monument to represent its strong army and the outpost safe zone where players can not only trade and buy things in the economy, but also become a degenerate gambler. The true American way. But to be honest, the United States was a nightmare to live in because the 4 states were separated. You couldn't go anywhere without being attacked.
Damn.
But there was one true menace who was causing the most damage to this country. He was the most wanted player in the United States, Grelp.
Spoon Kid.
Yeah, I just think there's some propaganda. Somebody's propagating some myths about this Grelp character.
It didn't matter what state you were in, Grelp was a threat.
Go follow
Throwing
these
grenades.
Go group them up. Group them up for an announcement.
The casino is here in Florida.
Running people over with motorcycles.
Oh my god.
But listen, man, Grelp stands for a lot more than you think. I'm for peace. I'm for love.
And it even got to the point where Grelp became a national security threat and was declared kill on sight by all states. What should we expect from Florida?
I mean, we're gonna run
Potentially-
the server.
Yo, wow.
I mean, we're hoping to maybe wall in the entire area and
Yo,
set up sort of a
wow.
safe zone.
Get
This is
this
the
guy
wildest
out of
shit.
here.
Trying to deep us this whole time.
If one single person was causing so much chaos in America, it showed that the states needed to work together, and soon enough, Grelp was actually uniting all the states by doing this. Jack Shepard, the mayor of California, realized that the US needed to elect a president in order to bring the states
With that
together.
guy with the hat on, that's
Yo,
fancy.
what's going on, man? How we doing?
Hey.
For California, the
He's
great
like the
state,
moderator.
entertainment capital of the world. We had, I think, Spoon Kid was going deep on our base, you know,
Yeah,
6
saw
or
that.
7 times. So we need to have some authority around here. So we all got to get together, have a meeting, elect a president, and let people know about the USA. Here, I think we're gonna go and take over the sulfur quarry soon too. So we might
News
head over
reports.
there.
We want to see
start
news
taking over
reports in
Africa.
chat.
Some of the United
Alright.
States factions wanted to travel all the way down to Africa to start using their
Everybody
quarries,
wants
but
to
they
bomb
needed to
us.
hold an election
Africa.
first so that way they could be unified together in order to do this. And with the British already trying to
Dude,
take
I
Africa's
was going through
resources,
my
things could
videos
get extremely
and I saw it
dangerous if
pop up.
America comes in and
And I
does the
saw
same
the one
thing.
that they did before
We
this.
will
I saw
beat
the first one.
villains.
I haven't
We're sick of
seen
being
this
the nice
one.
guys and getting pushed around.
So
we're gonna
I was
get
like,
it
instead of just watching it the way I
America is up
usually
to no
watch it on
good,
my
and we're
own,
gonna try to
I figured,
exploit
hey,
Africa's
I'll come
mining
in here
quarries as
and
well.
watch it with
And yet,
everybody
there
else.
was actually a third country who had this exact
This
same
is
idea, and
definitely
that
some shit I
country
would've been
was
watching.
Arabia.
I would have
Oh
watched anyway.
what are these two goofballs doing? Some Arabian soldiers tried sneaking into the giant excavator, but they were caught red-handed trying to steal.
Custom, Tommy.
Yo, Coco, this is
You see any
a
people?
representative from the Arabs. I think they're contesting us at Exca. Maybe we can come to an agreement with them.
I'm from Lebanon. We live in the Arab land. If you want, take
maybe
your
we can
bikes and we
organize-
can go to our land.
Okay, we'll come to your land.
Yeah,
Where do we
follow
go?
you.
Coco
Alright.
and his top executives traveled all the
Little
way to
negotiation
Arabia to
going
see if
on.
some kind of peace deal could be made. Maybe Arabia could help Coco with
Okay.
taking on the British Templars in Africa.
لا كوكونات
Right,
بدي
it makes
يحكي مع
sense.
الليدر معك
You
بدي
guys are
يحكي
in the
معك.
same
Now,
region.
this was interesting because these players are actually Arab and represent the country they're living in. And this is a common theme you'll see throughout this video where most players are living in their actual countries in-game, making this extremely immersive for both the players and you guys watching. So you'll hear a lot lot of different languages throughout this video.
This is our leader.
Okay.
Hello, coconuts.
Nice to meet you, my friend. Nice to meet you.
Now,
Rust
it
is a
wouldn't take
worldwide
long for
gang.
Coco to realize
love
that
this shit.
Arabia was extremely poor. I mean, they had wooden towers, half-finished buildings, and little bicycles. There was no way these people were gonna be able to help take on the British Templars. They were still on
What
bows and
resources do they
arrows,
have?
but maybe they could work out some kind of deal. Is what I would have said if things didn't turn south very quickly.
حابين نعمل معكم تحالف باعتبار انتم قراب علينا نفس المكان. Okay.
He is telling me that you are the people who nearest people to us, so we can like have agreement to don't kill each other.
We have a giant excavator and we have oil. You and your people have free passage. What the did you just say?
What?
Who is this man speaking for you right now?
Okay, don't speak. No,
Uh-oh.
calm down, guys.
Shit's breaking down.
Stop.
That one dude, you're sitting on airplane and pulled out his
There was
gun.
some kind of disagreement about land claims, and
Oh,
things were getting
shit.
hostile quick.
You know what I think?
You just killed
No! Why you shoot my horse?
Oh, this.
Back.
No. أيوة, calm down.
Oh!
أيوة.
Oh, well, that broke down.
يا شباب اطلعون.
Wow. Wow, this was basically an ambush.
Well, it was safe to say that Africa and Arabia did not end up on good terms.
Wow.
Now, although Arabia was very poor, one
Right, what were
country
they
who was
complaining?
not poor was Russia.
See?
Although Russia had cold living conditions in
That
their
was
country,
weird.
the monuments made up for it. It contains a missile launch
Dude,
site, which is the
they were-
biggest
they were
and best
bad,
monument in
but
this game
just-
because it gives
wow.
high-tier military
Wild.
loot. And when I spoke to the Russian team, I learned a lot about what they're planning. So tell me a little bit about Russia and what's been going on in Russia.
So it's not about Russia, it's about all cis community, about Ukrainian, Russian, Mongolia and other countries. Like we are grouping up all together.
Oh,
we are
shit.
controlling winter,
Oh, shit.
controlling launch site.
Shektir explained to me that this country
Damn.
was made up of Russian, Ukrainian, Mongolian, and many other Russian-speaking countries, therefore creating the Commonwealth of Independent States. Because of
Damn.
how large Russia was on the map, they created multiple different compounds around the area and figured since they all spoke the same language, working together would be a lot smarter than attacking each other. But
Wow.
the CIS did have a common enemy.
We have problems with Japanese because they were attacking us and saying some bad words about us, about this
wow.
community. So
Wow.
we wanna take them revenge.
The nearby Japanese civilization was giving Russia some problems.
Damn.
And that's because they also had an OP monument called the Mariana Trench.
This shit is so
is a
close
deep
to real
ocean
life,
monument
it
where
is
a crashed
amazing.
ship is at the bottom where players can find a ton of guns. And since this was right off the coast of Japan, they were farming this monument which was supplying them guns to fight the Russians. Hello, Japan?
Hello, what your name?
FancyOrb, hello.
You Arthur? Hey, where you are?
No, I'm not R2,
Oh,
I'm not
okay.
R2. It's Fancy, it's Fancy.
Okay. Oh, FancyOrb!
Right.
Hey.
Right. Fancy.
Hello.
Japan was so skeptical of anyone visiting
Japan
their
wasn't
country
even let-
because they were at war with Russia.
Japan was not playing with their borders.
We're just getting raided, I think. We get raided
maybe
by
R2.
This is
twice.
crazy.
They're trying to raid our Toyota base.
Now, I'm not sure who started this war, but apparently Japan attacked in CIS territory first. So to retaliate, the CIS raided Japan's Toyota shop and stole all their vehicles back to Russia.
So sad.
So I heard you guys have been using the Mariana Trench to fight Russia, is that correct?
Yeah.
Oh my
So far,
god, that's
go, go.
hilarious.
If Russia could take the Mariana Trench away from Japan, it would tremendously slow down Japan's progression. So Russia intends to raid the Japanese later and take the Mariana Trench for themselves. But that wasn't the only target Russia had in this event.
Oh shit.
And maybe America will have some problems.
Oh. Oops.
Russia was a very strong team on the server, but since they're so far away from the rest of the world, no one knew about this yet. It was only a matter of time until the rest of the world discovered this. Speaking of the rest of the world, as I traveled around the server, I got to see insanely creative buildings, like this airplane built in Ukraine, a massive motorcycle racing track where players held racing tournaments, and this incredible wooden boat created by Wellen.
Is that fancy?
Hey, is this a big pirate ship you're building?
Wow.
Yeah, we're building the flying pumpkin.
This boat was massive and was built by one of the most iconic YouTubers Russ has ever seen. Surely no one would want to blow this up.
Yeah, right.
Right?
Wobbles, you could totally take me hostage because I would love to see the inside of the space.
Oh, we'll be seeing the inside of this boat real soon, if you know what I mean.
Hey, oh.
Damn. Oh, wow. Wow.
But by far the most creative and peaceful country on the map was Canada. Canada was by far the friendliest country in the event and built a massive roleplay town where the residents lived. When the event started, they made land claims all over Canada so people could buy plots of land and join this town. Hey, yo, Rexmore, you hear Rexmore?
Hey,
what's
okay,
up, Fancy?
Rexmore.
Canada's actually a peaceful town, a very peaceful town. Everybody here's got building permits.
Like
we run a tight ship. Everything's gonna be a vibe here. We've got schools going up, art galleries, shopping districts, got a gas station up on the corner by outpost in case anyone needs. It's a welcoming place for those that are welcoming. For those that are not, well, we clean it up.
The only threat they faced was their neighboring country, the United States, with how chaotic things were down there. But Canada believes in a strong North America. Has there been any issues in America?
No, we're very closely tied with the Americans. You know, we've had our conversations and we've got each other's back. North America's got to stick together. That's how we look at it.
Rightfully so, Canada was on good terms with the United States, which means there was only one other country in North America to complete this alliance, which was Mexico. So I spoke with the president of Mexico to see what their thoughts were.
We have decided to ally with the U.S. If we're going to be living next to each other, we're going to have to live next to each other peacefully so we could move on to bigger and better plans.
But then I asked Carnage about the rumor Jack Shepard told me earlier about North America wanting to conquer Africa. I heard Mexico, Jack Shepard's, all of America, you guys are going to be attacking Africa soon, potentially?
Oh, yeah. Oh yeah, some big is coming, man. Some big is coming, and
we're
preparing for it right now.
So it seemed the big three countries in North America created an alliance to keep their entire continent secured. But Carnage kept referencing these big plans that he couldn't share with me just yet.
Got some good plans coming up in the future.
Something top secret was going to happen in North America to help them take over African soil and launch a massive invasion. And once the United States election happens, we'll get more answers on what this mystery could be.
Than just the vanilla servers we get to play on. These private servers.
And while the entire continent of North America was plotting on their invasion in Africa, the players here had no idea this was happening. All mining quarries were running under Coconut B's rule, and his power was slowly growing. But more importantly, the giant excavator was running right under the British Templars' nose. As they stared at Coco's men using this mine, the British Templars decided it was time to fight back. Meanwhile, Coco and his men were just chilling back at base, knowing that Africa was running at full capacity. The base was being built and all was calm, but the British Templars had other ideas.
Oh shit, they're pulling up before they're done. Oh.
What the hell is going on?
Right. Oh, they're gonna get spawn camped at the door. Don't let them camp you at the door! Oh, don't let them in! Oh! Oh! Oh, they're laddering up! Oh, is that...
It was a complete ambush and the British Templars caught Coco's men off guard. But the biggest advantage was them living in that rainforest, because as Coco's men reported back to base, they used the trees as cover to kill the British from the outside. And after a ton of fighting, the British Templars would actually be defeated yet again.
Damn. That's right.
Now, at this point, Africa was becoming extremely powerful. Not only did they just win a ton of guns and armor from the British, but they still had control of all the quarries. And their next plan of operations was to go back to Arabia and capture their leaders hostage.
Are
we taking their leader
Do
hostage?
anything, because
Yes,
when you die,
do not
you
kill
lose
their
all
leader.
your
We're gonna
gear,
handcuff
and
them,
they
take
pick
them
it up and
hostage.
use it.
Burn
Make you
all the
look
wood
better.
buildings. Take no prisoners alive other than the leader.
Now, this is where I realized that Africa may be corrupt. There was no need to attack Arabia, they were too poor, but Coco had this power trip and realized he didn't want just Africa, he wanted the world.
Africa is here!
Damn!
Where's your leader?
I watched him destroy the people of Arabia as they burned down their buildings looking for people to capture to bring back as prisoners.
Wow!
Where is your leader? It's the last chance. Your people are gonna burn and die.
Okay, coming.
Keep him alive.
Okay, oh shit.
Picking his ass up.
CO2-6!
No, please.
Push him in the bike.
Damn!
Get him in the bike.
I want to leave.
Get him in.
Damn!
Back over in Russia, the CIS alliance was getting ready to launch an attack on Japan so they could take control of the Mariana Trench.
Дорогие друзья, я узнал плохую вещь, что весь мир хочет объединиться для того, чтобы нас выселить с этого сервера. Поэтому я собрал вас всех здесь для того, чтобы мы накинулись и схавали их всех. Первые начали Япония, они кого-то зарейдили из вас, поэтому мы с вами идем рейдить их в ответ. Поэтому после этого рейда у нас будет готовность общая. Скорее всего, кто захочет, будет переезжать куда-то сюда, построим большую деревню для того, чтобы нам было проще дефаться.
Едем. Куда ехать, вы скажите, ёпта.
Now, this was a huge moment for the CIS community because they were fully united. Using the same Toyota cars they stole from Japan earlier, the CIS created a convoy unit with air support and travel to start their attack on Japan. Now, watching how they moved together as a unit showed me how organized this community was. I don't think Japan realized what kind of mess they got themselves into. As they arrived to Japan, they started their attack. It was a struggle at first to push them close enough to build their raid base, but the CIS were way too organized and they destroyed everything in their path. Even a bypassing Japanese air balloon wasn't allowed to land.
Damn!
As the CIS built their raid base and placed beds to respawn, I soon realized a brilliant raiding strategy they were using. One soldier was specifically shooting incendiary rockets into the sky, and I was confused at first, until I realized he was perfectly timing the explosion right above their base so the fire would land, preventing Japan from using their roof.
Fucking genius! These guys are what?
There was a ground team rocketing the base, there was a helicopter giving air support. The CIS were using full-on military tactics and Japan was getting destroyed. And as nighttime fell, this base was sieged and the CIS walked out with most of Japan's loot.
Wild. That's crazy.
Now, most players in Rust would grief the base so the base owners can't rebuild, but the CIS didn't do this. They had class and allowed Japan to rebuild if they wanted. In a way, it was about sending a message to Japan telling them, if you want to fight again, we're ready for you. And with the Mariana Trench now being under CIS control, Japan was not going to forget this.
Damn!
Over back in the United States, it was almost time to officially elect a president who would lead this strong country. I spoke with some of the citizens in Florida before the election to get their thoughts, but when I spoke to T-Guy Tom, something caught me off guard. I heard there's an election coming up. Do you know about that?
The which part?
I heard there's an election coming up in the United States. Do you know about that?
Oh. Really?
Oh.
Tom here didn't even know about the election. I thought for sure all the US citizens would be informed, but Tom assured me it was just because they lived in Florida far away from the others.
I think down in Florida, we're kind of, we're far from all that. I mean, this is kind of the backwoods of America, if you know what I mean.
Oh, okay. So I didn't think about it too much, and when I teleported over to the election, there seemed to be a lot of US citizens getting ready to vote.
Holy sh**. That's so cool, guys.
That's what's up.
It was an important day for the American people. Today, they decide which person will lead the country for the rest of the event. As players ran down the boardwalk, they were able to meet the presidential nominees. The US had a variety of different creators to vote for, the first being Vincent SMG, who had a socialism viewpoint where loot would be distributed to all Americans.
What I would like to do for the American people, big farm runs, big roams, to do big raids. We get lots of loot from that and distribute it to everybody. Because if we get America more loaded, then we can do more raids and we can rule the world.
The next candidate being OT Tanza, a fierce PvPer who is ready to lead the US to war.
My first priority, like it has been on our event, is to make America the most prosperous state, keep it safe. If there is, for example, an objective happening, like a nuke or something, that is something America needs to obviously obtain, and that is my first priority.
And the final candidate being Balding Bus, and he had a different approach to America.
If you vote for me, I'm giving big booty Russ to everybody in America.
The Americans had different options to vote for, so it is now time for the Q&A from the crowd.
Guys, we're to raid another nation. Which one would you guys hit first?
I would probably go for Africa. There's more resources for USA. What do you think? We need to be richer.
The next question came from the president of Mexico, Carnage. But then I stopped for a second because why was he at the United States election? And then I realized it. Looking around, there were players from Mexico everywhere at this boardwalk. For some odd reason, they were taking part in the American election and were allowed to vote.
Nah, son, the fix is in! The fix is in!
Some great responsibility, right?
I'd have been calling that shit out.
What are you guys planning to do?
I'd have been calling that shit out immediately.
The questions Mexico were asking Tanza were just too perfect, and he had the best answers for them.
I'm gonna keep doing what I have been doing, and I'm gonna make sure US keeps being the most prosperous country in the entire server. Everyone here needs to be rich. You all need to be doing good, and we can only get bigger from here.
Anyways, after enough questions from the audience, everyone gathered in a giant line to cast their votes. Even I got to vote, but something just felt so odd about this election. As we were waiting in line, the soldiers from Mexico were just watching us, and it was a little intimidating with their armor and guns out as we handed your vote to Jack Shepard, and then I started connecting the dots. I know the full story of what's happening on this server, but none of these voters know what I know. T-Guy Tom told me earlier he had no idea this election was happening.
Florida doesn't even know about the election.
Really?
How many more US citizens do you think were just like Tom who didn't know there was an election? So that might be why so many soldiers from Mexico showed up, to fill their places to look like there were more voters. But let's go back to what the president of Mexico told me earlier.
We have decided to ally with the US. Some big is coming, man. Some big is coming, and we're preparing for it right now.
This couldn't be. Okay, what about Jack Shepard? He's the one reading the votes. Well, when I talked to him earlier in this video, he actually told me who he was voting for.
I might run for president. I'm getting my votes with Tanza currently.
I'm afraid this election may be orchestrated by multiple parties, but maybe I was wrong. Maybe everything is just a coincidence and I'm looking into this too deep. And after about 30 minutes of everyone patiently waiting in line to cast their vote, it was finally time for Jack Shepard to announce the winner.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's go over the total here. So 1 vote for Porgy. Very good. 2 votes for Spoon Kid. 3 votes for Balding Bus. 9 for Vincent SMG. And 25 for Tanza.
No.
Did they just rig that election? I guess we won't find out until it's confirmed. But these Americans may have just blindly voted for a false leader. Regardless if it was rigged or not, you're now looking at the man who will lead the United States. OT Tanza.
It is just the first day of this big event to come, and I really want to thank everyone for voting me. One thing I want to do, as my first act of president immediately, name Vincent SMG from Florida as my war general. I like Vincent, he's a man of action. If someone is going to get people to war, it's him. I think the entire world needs to give us tax, to be honest. We'll make sure USA is...
So the guys who didn't even get a vote, he's putting them in position. Okay.
It was a special day for the American people as they celebrated with their new president.
But
little did they know what they may have just done. Now the USA could start preparing for their conquest in Africa, and as all the players left the boardwalk, Mexico headed off in their own group, and I caught them whispering something interesting amongst their members.
Who knew rigging an election was so easy?
I fucking knew it! You can't trust these motherfuckers! I fucking knew it. I knew it. Oh, you dirty motherfuckers.
Back in Africa, Coconut B was deciding what they were going to do with the British Templars, also known as BT.
They're shooting at us with P2s from the roof. Like, I think they're hurt. We really, like, got our together, ran XCAT for Solf and HQM, get full kids. We could take them out today.
You want to take out BT today?
Those guys, they don't even RP.
All right, I have a meeting with Lebanon.
Good luck with it. Good luck. Look, I would have been okay with it, but they don't want to role play unless they're up. You know what I'm saying? Like, even when they're down, they're gonna try every scummy move. Like, they try to raid us, and that raid threw them off. We got like 20 kids from them.
That's why we need to tax these.
Either tax them or just get rid of them. You know?
Before they could think about BT, Africa had to solve this dispute between Arabia, because earlier they took their leaders hostage.
Is this the leaders of Lebanon?
The leaders of Arabs. First one and second one, Rooney and Mr. Abkari.
He is our translator.
They talk Arabic, I translate to you, you talk English, and translate for them.
Okay. Let's get one thing straight, gentlemen. We are the A side. We have the excavator, we have underwater labs, we have the stone quarry, and we have the water treatment. Can you tell that to them?
حاليا عندهم الexcavator وعندهم الunderwater lab
We came to Lebanon and we were attacked by your people, to which we do not take lightly. We want peace, but if we are disrespected, we will annihilate your homes, your towns, your monuments.
Wait. Let's talk. We started the.
No. Tell them what I just said. No. Tell them what I just said.
I will tell.
Calm down, please. Calm down, please.
We are talking diplomatic, so don't shout on us, and we don't shout on you. So
they came to your land and you tried to kill them.
Because we are guests on your land. So
you don't have any leverage.
I was guest at your land, and my people had bows and arrows and stone hatchets pointed at them, and we were attacked.
Right.
So no, I will not be peaceful, and I will not be reasonable. Here is the fact, gentlemen. We can blow you up. Right now.
Coco clearly had no intention of solving this peacefully. The guy didn't have to, because that's the thing about these events. When you know you have power, you get what you want. There was one thing Coco wanted from Arabia.
Coco ain't do nothing wrong in
continue
this,
to be
in this
enemies
part.
unless your people pay a tax to my people.
No tax. دكتور.
Coco was
ما
right.
فينا ندفع الضرائب. عمال لك بده ضرائب مننا نحن ما خرجت
Okay.
No, I am president in our country.
Sit back down in your chair. Sit back down.
Calm down. Okay, wait.
There was no way Arabia was just gonna back down and let this happen. So,
they didn't have a
hesitantly,
choice.
their translator let Coco know they will not be treated like this.
You have no leverage.
My president telling you that we will take this case for the union, and we will tell them that you are treating other countries like this, and
you lose us.
And the same for your people. They are not welcomed on our land.
Really?
Now, as soon as he said that, there was a brief moment of silence.
And we
All
know
you
what
could
comes
hear
next.
was the birds chirping. It was like
know
the
what
calm
comes
before the
next.
storm, because that was a big slap in the face to Coco.
Say less.
Let's send them back to their country, boys.
Oh my.
Coco was committing war crimes that could get him into serious trouble. He was making enemies with everyone. First BT, now Arabia. And his next problem would soon arrive as the United States and Mexico started building their first outposts in Africa.
Once you do
They
that,
multiple cars
you
and
don't have
caravans
any
full of
leverage.
soldiers to start
You don't have
colonizing
any
the
right,
west
you don't
side of
have
Africa.
any
The
moral
vice
high
president
ground.
of the United States, Jack Shepard, was organizing this assignment, and some fellow travelers were noticing this going down.
Damn, is this a meeting in here, boys, or what's going on here?
We're just doing some work.
Yeah, we're just it's a little vacation.
Okay. Alrighty, boys, so see you around.
Jack and his men were acting very suspicious. They knew they were caught in a place they weren't supposed to be at. It was a bold move for the US and Mexico to enter Africa and steal one of their quarries, but no one knew this was happening yet. And to be honest, a lot of things have been happening around the world that no one knows about. And there's one team on the server that dedicates their time to give updates around the world. Welcome to the news team.
Welcome to Channel 4 Global News, where we bring you the latest and most credible information from around the world. Stay informed, stay connected, and join us as we navigate the complexities of our ever-changing world. We are Channel 4 Global News.
The news team is located in New York and built this giant news tower. They have multiple creators running the news team and pledge to give the real and honest truth in their news reports.
We promise to serve this world with the honest truth and nothing but the facts. We will be all over this world collecting your stories and giving you a voice for this event.
When they have enough footage for a news episode, they edit videos live during the event and post them in my Discord to 40,000 people. So everyone playing in the event sees these episodes. Kind of give me the rundown on what's been going on.
What you're going to hear is America's pretty unified. It seems pretty peaceful here. There is rumors of things happening between America and other regions. We're not too sure yet. It's kind of just rumors, so we don't want to speak on it yet. A lot of intel that's come about from Africa, and you will be very, very interested to hear about it once we post our news section.
Sounds good. And has there been any enemies to America?
That's very interesting. Very interesting. We can't really say for sure. It seems like there is rumors of some groups in America here wanting to expand their military elsewhere. We don't know for sure.
Brawlo was very hesitant about answering my question. It was like he was afraid to speak up about what's happening in America, and that's because the news team is suspicious about the leaders running this country. Here's footage of them at the election earlier.
Look, it may put us in the line of fire, but this is corrupt as hell, bro. Like this just reeks of corruption, man. Like a military power, like controlling the votes. All the people here are Jack Shepard's villa or Mexico or Tons' group. This is a scoop for you, bro.
This is a scoop, man.
They had a feeling that election was rigged, and ever since then, they've been closely watching every action of President Tanza and Vice President Jack Shepard.
Fancy, please take this note. Mr. Fancy, just please take a look at this note here. Now, you haven't heard this from me. This is rumors that I've heard through sources.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you.
Yo, give me the note. Burlo, it's Tonza here. I need the note. I need it right now. No secrets from news team to me.
What? We don't know what you're doing. You tell us your secrets. What the hell?
The president himself was right outside the news station listening to our conversation the entire time. Now, why was Tanza being so nosy? Well, it's because he doesn't want the whole world to know his dirty little secret. And the news team is the only ones who can do that.
The tyranny is real.
But that note that Brawlo gave me was true because Africa had just made contact with Mexico and the United States over the mining quarry.
We got air support coming in soon. Guys, when you hear rockets, we push in.
Now, Africa had a trick up their sleeve to show the world. On their team is a content creator named Pico who specializes in flying helicopters in Rust. Some even say he's the best pilot in this game. So this now means Africa has a functioning air force and they were going to use this advantage to win back the mining quarry.
When you hear rockets, we push in.
When you hear rockets, we push in. Right, dumb.
Push in, let's go! We got air support, boys, let's go! Move in!
Ooh.
Watch the campers, boys!
Roll up the campers, they are support!
Back away from the car, back away!
They're about to run them up out of there.
Move in!
They're about to run them up out of there.
Africa didn't take lightly to North America trying to take their quarries, but due to Coco's war tactics, they easily won it back. So this marks the very first contact Africa had with Mexico and the United States, therefore signaling to Africa they now had a third and fourth enemy. And although Coco's Africa won this battle, the war was certainly not over. So Coco and his war general named Honda both discussed what they were gonna do. Now that 4 countries were after them, they needed to start making allies, because if they didn't,
they need to go up and
the
mess with
whole
the
world
Russian,
would be after them.
team.
They come to Exca, they grub us there. They don't
to
say anything. It's bad. But I'm hoping that we can have an alliance worked out that actually benefits everybody, where we're not constantly fighting. We can have some sort of unity and peace in this area.
Honda wanted to make an alliance with Max Mears, who was the leader of the British Templars. Since they're also established inside Africa, it may be beneficial to put their differences aside instead of pointlessly fighting.
50 minutes, I'm going on a world tour. I'm going to try to see if I can garner some alliances across the world. We definitely need more than just Max if we get him. I'm going to try Australia, I'm going to try Antarctica, and I might try, if possible, Brazil.
I knew it. I fucking knew it.
Brazil's civilization was located deep in the Amazon forest, so the Brazilians wore camouflage armor to blend in with the trees in case anyone attacked them. Teaming up with Brazil as a no-brainer. They have so dirty in their civilization, and if you don't come to Brazil, they'll come to you.
Right now we're just farming because, you know,
they did Brazil so dirty.
We want to build big things covered by that deep forest. No one can see.
They did Brazil
yeah.
dirty in the lab.
How's it going, man?
Hey, Judy, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good, bro.
I see a big structure here. This looks cool. What are you guys doing? And tell me more about Brazil and your plans.
One second, I'm I know a lot of people want to talk with Brazil and interact with Brazil. We just throw away the idea of build like massive clan bases, and we're trying to build a real civilization right here. We want to interact with the entire world.
Brazil was a welcoming country to the world. They planned to build a massive football stadium for all the countries to take a vacation and interact with the Brazilian community. They don't want to involve themselves with any wars, but sometimes you're forced to. Oh, that sounds awesome, man. Has there anyone been giving you issues around here?
For real? We have some treat with UN at the starts again. Oh. I told UN what we want, but for real, Fancy, I don't trust UN.
You shouldn't trust the UN.
We all know what happened last year.
I would blame
we know.
Another organization on the server is the United Nations. Their goal is to keep peace between all the countries and also hold United Nation meetings where all leaders will gather in their buildings to discuss politics, which you will see later in this video. But you see, in last year's global warfare event, keeping peace was the exact opposite of what they did. There was a massive rivalry between Brazil and the UN.
When killing my people on South America every day, since they start.
We just let everyone shoot us and do nothing.
Remember, I hate the UN.
So fast forward to this year, the UN is looking to resolve this conflict with Brazil and settle their differences.
We want to apologize, first of all. It was never our intention to be fighting you. It has been our goal from the start of this to make peace with Brazil. We never intended to be at war with you in the first place last year.
Bitch, yes you did.
Love to hear that.
I wouldn't
now,
trust
the biggest issue the UN is facing right now is that they've built an island in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. But in order to farm loot, they have to go somewhere inland. So they're practically begging Brazil to let them farm on their land.
Okay, we can farm South America, you say?
Yeah. South America isn't a problem. If you farm like under this, like 31, 32, 33, it's fine. We're farming just the central of South America.
Now, Toddy, the president of Brazil, was telling the UN they can farm in South America, but you have to do it at the bottom of the continent where there's barely any resources. So he's basically telling them, no, you're not welcome here.
Rain and I have talked, and we're going to actively direct our team to move our land, farming, and monument over to the south.
We will try and stay away from you as much as possible.
We were wondering if you would allow us to build the embassy here. Just a small 3x3. We can send you a picture.
We need to discuss about this. We return later, okay?
Okay. Yeah, that's
Don't trust.
Brazil was not very interested in the UN farming in their territory.
Right, I mean, rightfully so,
because last year when they did that, it put Brazil in a war they didn't want to be in. So the UN can't go to Brazil, they can't go to Africa because Coconut Bee's massive army is located there. So their only option was to farm in Antarctica. And no one knows what kind of danger lives there. Over back in Africa, Coconut Bee and the British leader Max Mears were about to meet for the very first time to see if peace could be made in Africa.
Your people and my people have been having a lot of fights, and it makes no sense for our continent to be split and divided like this. We can be united, Max. We do not want war with you guys.
You say that.
Okay. It pleases me to hear you say those words. I actually have thought exactly the same thing. I could see us being the greatest colony on this entire server.
Africa are two different continents.
There has to be conditions. There has to be agreements. There has to be rules and regulations to any good democracy.
I thought could really help us, Max, and I think the reason why we're fighting is because we don't have delegated territories and delegated lands. I understand that people wanted to use the excavator. We can set up a line of communication of your people that want to use the excavator and my people, and set up different time schedules so we can all use the excavator and all bear the fruits of our hard labor.
That's the main thing. I completely agree with you. So why fight for it when we can work together? But not just with the excavator. There's plenty of enemies in these lands. Why war with each other when we can grow into a strong, powerful, united nation?
You and me, Max, and your people and my people, we can control this entire world.
I think that's a fantastic idea. A very, very good idea. I could see that being very profitable for the both of us.
Max and Coco understood that if they combined their forces, they would be more successful in taking over the world. But it would require both of them to share the giant excavator.
I need you to tell your people of these rules and conditions, and I will do my best with my people as well. Let's make this happen.
Yeah. In the interest of friendship, we've not been able to use the excav yet. What do you think of letting us use excav first for the next two night cycles?
All right. Well, all in favor of this? Clap.
Max, it might be good to tell your boys to back off so we can come home.
We'll start top of the morning. Can we have 3 days then? In good faith, as we're going to give you teas and stuff later down the line.
You said 3?
No,
you want 3?
You went from 2 to 3.
3 days, because we've not got to use it yet, and then we'll go back to 2.
Negative on 3. We can't. We're gonna do 2 and 2, Max.
2 and 2.
Okay. Right. Okay. We'll do 2 and 2.
Yeah. Right when the sun rises, it's yours. We're good now, Max.
All right.
We're good.
We're good.
Your people and my people can live in peace, and we will make Africa great. TIA. You know what TIA is? This is Africa. See you in the morning.
This is Africa, baby. See you in the morning.
Let's go. Thank you, boys.
Max.
And so the TIA movement was formed. This would be a strong start in protecting Africa's lands, but it wasn't enough. So both Max and Coco continued to look around the world for more opportunities to grow the TIA movement.
All right. Oh shit. Oh shit.
Welcome to Channel 4 Global News. Hello there, and I hope everyone is having a wonderful start to our first day in this world event. We have plenty of interesting news to share with you today. First up, it's looking like America is very unified at this current moment with their neighboring countries, Mexico and Canada, as great allies. Rex Moore, the Prime Minister of Canada, is focusing on education and political engagements with the rest of the world.
We got a school going up over here soon, because,
Oh, what, this thing? Is that your school right there?
We're looking for a unified, peaceful town. That's all our real goal is.
As it seems, looks like Canada is going to be quite the vacation spot for anyone looking to take a load off. However, Spoon Kid reportedly has been terrorizing some of the states within America. Notably, Florida and California's leaders have shared their thoughts on the situation and can confirm he is on high watch.
We got Spoon Kid over here. It's been a little bit disruptive.
Yeah, it's been, our only op is Spoon Kid. He's made an enemy with Spoon Kid, so it's been an issue.
Other than that, it's looking like both Florida and California have been very prosperous and doing great for themselves. And as a whole, America is looking very strong as a country at this time. And in other news, we have some very interesting conflicts to share with you that has been going on in Africa. Coconut Bee, who we presume is representing the leadership of Africa, he has been sharing some territorial disagreements with the northern parts of Africa and Arabia. There has been a lot of reports of both groups going to war, with Coco seeking military aid and alliances from neighboring factions ran by Max Mears. We have Anchorman Porgy with the latest conspiracy about this recent event. Over to you, Porgy.
Lies! It's goddamn lies, I tell you! Believe it or not, all of Africa was kind of in an alliance, but get this, Coconut Bee wanted the entire continent to pay tax to him!
We should pay tax.
No tax.
Wait.
Sit back down in your chair. Sit back down! Send them back to their country, boys. Go ahead and shoot them.
Yikes! From allies to war! In order to secure this war against the north of Africa, Coconut Bee has allied with Max Moores. But I'd be careful if I was Max, because I tailed Coconut Bee's group and I got the real inside scoop.
Right now, I want to fuck them up. I don't want peace. I want to fuck them.
Hey, turn it off. Hey, I'll shove this axe so far up your...
If I was Max Mears, I'd be watching my back. Porgy out.
Very interesting, Porgy. Thank you for that information, and honestly, I hope for the best for Africa. Now, there is a lot more information I would love to share with you all, but for now, this is all I can fit in this broadcast. However, please stay tuned, as there will be plenty of more reports coming very soon with insane news. But for now, that's all. Channel 4 News, signing off.
Now, one country who seemed to escape the news report was Russia. No one knows that they raided Japan and built an outpost right outside the Mariana Trench. No one knows that they're currently siphoning tons of weapons from this deep underwater monument and bringing it back to their country. And no one knows that the CIS alliance is expanding across the east side of the world. We saw their brilliant raiding strategies earlier, so I had to figure out what kind of plan they were executing.
This is what I was saying though. Coco should have came up here and messed with them.
Do you guys know where you're gonna be raiding? Like who you're raiding?
First chance to get, because he didn't, no one knows what they're doing.
Thank you, bro. Step 1. Since they have multiple stations in Russia, they go pick up soldiers from each one. Step 2. They fly to their designation. Since they have stations in Russia, Japan, and the Philippines, they had free airspace and didn't have to worry about being shot down. Step 3. Arrive in Australia. Other members of the CIS community had built an outpost in Australia, which means the CIS have complete expansion on the east side of the world.
Damn.
And their next objective, to take over Australia.
Aussie.
They were quick, they were efficient, and they were organized. The CIS silently raided the villages of Australia without a single soul in the world knowing. While most of the attention is happening in the middle and the west side of the world, Russia is taking care of the east side. And it's only a matter of time until they move to the other continents.
Boys out here taking care of business. Look at this shit. Nah, son.
The UN had arrived to Antarctica in hopes to find loot. They're blocked off from farming in South America and Africa, so the only option for them is to go south. Now, there's countries around the world like Arabia, Japan, and Australia relying on the UN to help them. But since the UN is struggling to find places to loot, they're practically failing the world right now. So a lot of pressure is on them. The living conditions for Antarctica is brutal. It's extremely cold here, but if you can manage to survive it, the loot can be 3 times more than usual. But the UN was about to face their next problem. There was some other group living here. The UN were walking into unknown territory and pissing off another civilization in the process.
I don't trust him. I don't fuck with you.
Now, whoever was living in Antarctica was deadly, because the UN were struggling hiding behind cover, but they rushed to build their embassy right outside the Missile Silo Monument, which is arguably one of the best monuments for loot in this game. But it was being protected by another group, and as the UN quickly began building their embassy, they soon realized who they were fighting. The players living here were some of the best PvPers this game has ever seen. Creators like HJune, Toasty, Drowsy, Oil Rats, and many other content creators on their team. The UN were quite literally setting themselves up for failure.
They like to do that one ship. Oil rig.
But the UN barely managed to get a base down in Antarctica. However, it would be nearly impossible for them to loot this monument because literally on the other side were these high-skilled PvPers. So the UN continued to face the same issue, and with such desperation of what to do, the right man came along to give them an offer.
Oh, shit.
Because the UN, I mean, right now you guys are stuck. You have no monuments, you're surrounded by enemies, you're getting pushed out from every country. Let me come in and help you guys. One might say that you're trying to help the world be a better place. And in return, when I do some things, you look the other way.
Coco needed the UN on his side. If you remember earlier in this video, Arabia told Coco they were going to snitch to the UN on how they were treated.
We will take this case for the Union and we will tell them that you are treating other countries like this.
So he proposed a trade. He would let the UN farm in Africa only if they let him commit his war crimes and take out Arabia.
This is the thing, Coco. We got labeled the bad guys last year and we didn't really do anything to anybody. We're trying to make a different story this time.
Chrissy, that's my final offer.
The UN hesitated to accept this offer. They don't want to be known as a corrupt organization again this year, but they were so desperate in this situation, and if they can't loot, they can't help the world. It's such a hard choice for them, but what else can they do?
I think, Chrissy, we will turn one blind eye, okay?
Coco, listen. At this point, we don't have a choice. We have no other
There's
options,
always a choice!
So
There's always an option!
The deal for a little blind eye, yes.
It was a complete manipulation, and Coco was taking advantage of a helpless UN. But they had no choice but to accept this offer, and now Coco will be able to finish his conflict with Arabia and not be punished by the UN for doing so.
Dirty in this game, dude. Whenever they do
I went
an
back
event,
to check out the most thriving country on this server, Canada. Many of the players created businesses, tons of new homes for real estate.
Canada.
It was a full functioning society here at Canada. One thing that was a little controversial, however, was their education system. Canada had a school, and I listened in on some of their lessons.
Your disapproval releases a cosmic shift within the void between birth and life. I can keep going if you want. Okay, if you ask me for a hamburger, my attention to reciprocate is cut brutally short as my body experiences a sudden lack of electrons.
What?
Yeah, so you might have had some questions about why I was able to vote in a American election. And if you come over here in our school's geography section, you can see our map here.
So here we have in northern Canada, this is Canada, Maine, Canada. Then we have below that, we have South Canada.
South Canada, but with tacos!
South Canada.
Not to be confused.
That's not South Canada, though.
Very South
With
Canada.
smaller Canadas.
That is South Canada. Now, if you go even more south than that, we have
Cuba.
South Canada, but with tacos.
Cuba.
Very nice, very nice. Yeah, I know. And then when you look all the way down this very bottom right there, that's the U.S.
Now, Canada was teaching their residents that the entirety of North America was Canada, which was a complete disrespect to the United States and Mexico, who were a part of the North American alliance with Canada. And when the Vice President of the United States, Jack Shepard, discovered this, he was not happy.
Hey, schools don't even have doors.
That's a great pitch and all, but you know when we come back down here, I want to see some revisions on that map.
Really?
Right?
Really? America is trying to tell another country how to write their history, how to write history and how to see the world. Really? Really, America? That's what you're doing? No, you don't get to do that.
Detail, this tiny interaction would actually spark some tension between the U.S. and Canada. If Canada didn't change their education system, I'm afraid this could cause more conflict between the countries. But more tension was happening over in India as they were being raided.
In your country?
You guys still being raided?
Oh my God,
I see you're still being raided.
How long have they been raiding? Election? Man, bro, this is crazy.
This is not really raiding, is it now?
Now, India was actually being raided for the past 5 hours in this event by a clan called OT. In last year's Global Warfare, OT absolutely dominated because they're a clan full of PvPers. So this year, we actually had to limit them to 5 members per country so they wouldn't destroy everyone again. And well, they got upset by this and decided to bully India because of this rule.
They're just sitting there, camping, shooting.
You've been doing this for hours. What is this?
I don't want the sub story, man. These guys did it to us as well. Took it to a different level. Nah, dude, what do you mean I'm a liar? You guys sat outside our base for like 2 hours. What? You guys are also like 20. Okay, how many people are you online, man? What happened earlier? Why did you guys not want to talk earlier?
Pick him up.
Dude, if you handcuff me, I'm gonna get back on that roof with the AK and I'm gonna mow you all down. I promise you take the handcuffs off right now.
We weren't door camping.
Be real, bro.
That is simple as that. We were just running around.
I have a clip of you sitting...
From your roof.
No!
It was just back and forth complaining, and OT was being extremely petty by building a giant tower outside India and camping them for hours.
Right.
But the reality is they're clan players. They don't know how to play in smaller groups. And to top it off, their leader OT Tanza is all the way in America who just became the US president, so they're in shambles without their leader.
Hey, if you don't want any resolution, why are we talking? There's no need to talk then. Let's get back to what we're doing.
Oh shit!
3 hours.
Oh my god, Jesus. Nothing could be resolved and OT continued to camp India. So, to retaliate, India had sent out a message to the world in hopes some other country would save them. And there was one country who was looking for more alliances.
Whenever some shit pop off, this guy is there. Fucking Coco. What a minute.
Move in, Africa!
Oh my god.
Move in!
This is fucking amazing. Holy shit.
Cover outside! Cover outside! Cover outside!
Dude. FancyOrb, man. You're editing, dude. God damn, Fancy. This is so fucking good.
Beautiful,
Go subscribe to FancyOrb. God damn.
Go up, go up, go up, go up, go up. Up top, man, up.
With brute force, Africa came in to save India and push back OT.
IT, what's going on?
Hello, hello, hello.
You guys were in trouble.
Yo.
IT, we have your back, my friend.
You too.
Yo.
We are leaving. IT. Congrats on the raid defense. Africa, we are leaving. We won. Let IT take over the whole.
Guys.
Let's go home.
out.
India wasn't going to forget this favor Africa did for them, and in return pledged their loyalty to fight by their side in future battles. So yet again,
like
Africa
the
had made
ultimate
another
leader on
alliance
this
on the
shit.
server and was slowly turning things around for this continent.
merciless.
They started off by having 4 countries after them, but now they have 4
Opportunistic.
countries a part of the TIA movement. They've got
And he takes
Africa,
advantage
the
of
British,
leverage.
the UN,
Holy
and
shit.
now India, which is surprising after all the unethical things they did today.
But
This
was
was
that
the first
unethical
time
though?
they helped another
I don't
country
think it
without
was.
gaining anything in
I don't
return.
think it was.
But the US President O.T. Tanza watched helplessly as Africa defeated his own clan all the way in India. There was nothing he could do because of the 5-player rule we set for OT, so Tanza's anger and hatred grew more and more for Africa. But little did Tanza know, on the opposite side of this country, the news station were plotting against him. They discovered the truth of the American election and were ready to expose the fraudulent leaders who were working with Mexico. But the news station faced a dilemma, because if they make this knowledge public, these corrupt leaders may raid and destroy the news station, kicking them out of the country. But they simply realized that the enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Heza here has something he can inform you about that he learned about the recent election here in America.
This political system, this Tanza president, it's corrupt. They took us all over there. They said this is going to be state leaders, and then we turn up and there's a whole team from Mexico, and there's a whole team from Jack Shepherd, and there's a whole team from Tanza. And you know what? There were 30 of them there, and there were maybe 10 other state leaders. And lo and behold, Tanza wins the election.
And 25 for Tanza.
30 to 10 it was, 30 to 9 or something like that. This is a military regime that is corrupt to the core.
We want to report the news as it's true, as it's true, right? We don't want to spin it, and we're afraid that if we do tell the news, the people who own this country are going to come pay us a visit and get rid of us. The reason
not
why
very
we're telling
American
you this
at
is
all.
because no. You guys seem like you guys are very united over there. If we do get hit after this next news post, can we count on Africa to come to our aid and support our agenda as the news team?
Us at Africa believe in free speech and the right to be able to express yourself without fearing for your life. Us at Africa, our continent, our beautiful, beautiful continent filled with thousands of citizens and military and air force, will gladly assist the news team in exposing America and allowing free speech. You have Africa's support, and America has been throwing shade our way since the start. Our plan is to invade America tomorrow, and kill Tanza and execute him on live television and appoint a new American leader.
The news station were the heroes that America needed. They were ready to sacrifice themselves in order for free speech to prosper. And since they knew America was planning to invade Africa, the news team allied with them to help expose this corruption. And with all the many new alliances Africa made on day one, this may turn into a massive world war. Africa didn't forget the USA and Mexico tried raiding and taking their quarries, so this was a perfect opportunity to fight back. Now, so much has happened on day one, but to give a quick recap of our stories, Canada, Mexico, and the United States formed their North American alliance, but the US is starting to get annoyed with Canada after disrespecting their country. The United States election was rigged thanks to Mexico helping with voter fraud, but the news station were the only ones who caught on to this, and now it's their job to expose America. The United Nations is struggling to find a continent to farm on, so they had to make a corrupt deal with Africa. Now the UN has access to loot, but in exchange won't punish Africa for their war crimes. Brazil is a peaceful country not looking to get involved with any conflicts. They plan to build a massive football stadium and bring the countries together. But will this change as tensions grow around the server? Will Brazil stick to being peaceful, or will someone piss them off and trigger a war? Many countries like Arabia, England, Mexico, and America fought with Africa on day one. But when Africa realized they were gaining too many enemies, they started focusing on alliances. They settled their beef with Max Mears, made a deal with the UN, saved India from OT, and now working with the news station and bringing down the North American alliance because they rigged the American election. And while all this was happening, Russia and the CIS alliance was slowly and silently raiding the east side of the world. They took out Japan, they took out Australia, and soon it was time for them to move on to the other continents. With so much happening around the world, it was only a matter of time before massive wars break out as the politics continue to build. So, let's find out what happens on day 2.
Damn! Okay, I want to stop, but I don't want to stop.
Welcome to day 2
of
Global Warfare. Get ready for an action-packed day.
We're going to end the live stream. Fuck that, we're going to see the whole thing. We're going to say it through it. We can't pull away from this. This shit is amazing.
Hello everyone, we have an emergency broadcast to share with you. This is breaking news. We have a few things to share with you, so let's make this quick as our well-being heavily depends. People of the world, we are afraid that we are here today to report breaking news. News that will shatter the very foundation of one great nation.
In the middle of the evening, on the west coast of America, an election occurred. An election that was staged, rigged, corrupt, and a disgrace to the great nation of the USA.
The news team were advised by Tanza that all state leaders would gather on the west coast for a state leader meeting. During this meeting, the military alliance of Mexico, Tanza's group, and Shepherd's Villa sprung an election upon us. This election was to take place immediately, with only the people in attendance to vote.
The people in attendance were the combined forces of the USA military alliance, numbering around 30 people already led by Tanza, and the 5 to 10 other state leaders alone that had been called.
The result of the election was by no surprise, a vote of 29-9 in favor of Tanza.
We here at Channel 4 News believe in sharing the truth, regardless of how it risks our position in this world. We wish for America to be freed of this corrupt rule, in the interest of a true, fair nation.
And we hope to report further breaking news as this event continues.
It got wild quick!
Mr. Tanza, are you here?
Oh. Hello, Fancy. Good morning.
Morning. Sure is good morning for you. I got a few questions for you if you got the time.
Of course.
I want to talk about that news episode. What are your thoughts on that, man? You gotta explain how you're feeling right there. You've just been exposed in front of the world.
I gotta say I'm pretty disappointed. The news team had a bunch of members in my election. So did every other state of the US. Everyone had their chance to vote. You were there yourself. You saw it. Yeah, all I'm saying is I'm having a meeting as soon as possible to start an investigation further into the news team. The news team is clearly against USA, and they must go down. We cannot have them here in the USA, unfortunately.
What's going on with Mexico? What are the plans on the agenda right now? Just fill me in the loop.
All right, the tensions have risen up from our last convo. The U.S. is at war with each other, so now we're gonna plan an attack on Bralo. So
Both the leaders of the USA and Mexico were stuttering with their words and unsure of what to say because they knew this entire event just changed as they've been exposed in front of the world.
You can't say that you're not corrupt if you attack the media.
But with that,
you can't claim not to be corrupt if you attack the media.
Thanks, guys. Good luck.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
All right, Fancy.
These motherfuckers need the sage around.
There was uncertainty in North America. President Tanza plans to launch an investigation, which we know what that means. The news team is gonna get hit as expected. Mexico is worried because they're on the outside of North America, so if a country plans to attack the United States, they have to go through Mexico first. Ladies and gentlemen, we are on the verge of a world war. Now we just wait to see who pulls the trigger first. I listened to the final meeting President Tanza had with Vice President Jack Shepard.
If they're conspiring with Africa or like something like this, that is like immediate attack against the USA. So we'll have to go and take them down. We'll have to take New York, even if it would be with force.
Okay.
Hell yeah.
Well, yes, sir. We're there right away. President, thank you for your time today.
Thank you, Secret Service. Thank you. I am going to relay news to the top Mexican people as well.
So I saw the news episode, and I'm sure you did too. You and Tanza were kind of framed. I just want to get your thought on like what you think about that, and what your plans at Tanza are going to be now.
Yeah, so I think this was all fake news, to be completely honest. You know, I mean, the news people were down there. Porgy, Bralo, and Keza voted. I find that to be very surprising and very disturbing, and I think what we need to do is do a full investigation on them right away and do a full raid and take over the property, and there will be no more fake news. Maybe OT news.
The United States were catching on that the news station was working with their main enemy, Africa. They were going to manipulate and use this as justification for raiding the news station and removing them from America.
But they're calling it fake news, and now they're about to try to bomb
in Africa, the TIA movement started their day off with a massive meeting with Coconut Bees Africa, the British side of Africa, and get this, the India side as well, because India had decided to move to North Africa and pledge their loyalty after Coconut Bees saved them yesterday.
Today we're going to be raiding America. They had a fake election go on. It was rigged from the start. I heard that OT President Tanza is a self-proclaimed president, and he plans to do some very, very bad things. Max Mears knows about this, and the other allies know about this as well. The goal is to invade America and raid the capital, execute the presidents and the leaders on live television, and we will appoint our new own president. I need everybody farming sulfur. I need everyone getting cloth, metal, getting all that stuff done. Listen to John J. Honda. Let's make today a wonderful day, Africa. TIA!
Cult leader fucking skills.
Now, although Coco wants to help end the corruption in America, he still has a dark past he needs to clear. Remember, he bullied and took hostages from Arabia. If he wants to start changing the world for good, no one can find out his history on how he treated other countries. So the only thing left for him to do was eliminate Arabia and remove the evidence.
For peace.
They took a squad of soldiers and landed their helicopters outside the walls of Arabia. Their technology was way more advanced than Arabia. It was like comparing the Stone Age to the modern era.
Oh shit. Oh shit.
No one from Africa wanted to raid Arabia, but they understood it had to be done if they were to move on to bigger and better things. It's unfortunate these countries couldn't get along at the start of the event.
Hello, Coconuts! Nice to meet you, my friend.
But as all the other countries were advancing around the world, only the strongest will survive.
Rocketers, take the wall. Take the walls and take the gate. Shoot it down, shoot it down.
Yesterday, Coconut Bee had secured an alliance with the UN where they would look the other way for one war crime, and this was it.
Let's blow the doors up right here.
Like I said, so far, Coconut Bee hasn't done anything wrong.
Coco's military was so advanced this was at least a quick and painless kill. They stormed Arabia's walls and destroyed everything in their path.
Would you become violent and attack somebody at a peace talk? No. You get whatever happened.
Alright, we did what we could, Africa. Let's go back home.
Africa had just eliminated an entire country and hid the evidence so they wouldn't be able to tell the world. At least, that's what they thought. Over back in America, it was finally time. The U.S. President O.T. Tanza, Vice President Jack Shepard, and the leader of Mexico, Carnage, gathered all their militaries to destroy the news station. No other state leaders were informed about this, and everyone was ordered to stay inside their bases, including Canada, who's a part of the North American Alliance. They were not invited.
Ladies and gentlemen, today is an important day of history. The fake news media will be taken down with speed and precision.
Oh my fucking God.
Stand with me, your brothers and sisters from Mexico and America.
Oh my fucking God.
The news station understood that this would be their final episode and their last chance to send a message to the world to go against the corruption in America. So, as the United States military and Mexico was heading over to the news station, Rallo sat down in his chair one final time, and they turned on the cameras to send a last-minute hope out to the world.
Welcome to Channel 4 Global News. We have some very interesting news to share with you. However, at this time, we are being forced to release some very crucial information regarding a previous election. The leaders of our country is planning to hold an investigation to shut us down and take away our freedom of speech. And I'm sorry I have to say this, but people of this—
Oh no!
The world.
Okay.
Welcome to Channel 4 Global News. We have some very interesting news to share with you. However, at this time, we are being forced to release some very crucial information regarding a previous election. The leaders of our country is planning to hold an investigation to shut us down and take away our freedom of speech. And I'm sorry I have to say this, but people of this world, I'm afraid that once you've seen this, the news will be forcefully removed from America. They are trying to silence us here on the news station, but I hope you know, we will not back down.
Yeah, I'm not too concerned with that. That's, oh God! I fear for South Canada.
Move it, go!
So to all the Americans, as your final message from the news station, do not stop fighting. This country is being ran by corrupt leaders, and only you can stop them. The world will not be destroyed by those who do evil, but by those who watch them without doing anything. Channel 4 News, signing off.
From Albert Einstein. Alright, get to the window. Right. Ooh!
The United States and Mexico began raiding the news station. All states were told not to interfere or else there would be consequences. So nearby bases like this taxi team just stared at the news being raided, afraid to get involved because they would be next. Now, they weren't just raiding the news station, it was the entire state of New York who was protecting the news. So, one by one, the US and Mexico began raiding every New York citizen until they reached the news station.
Wow.
Okay, push. We'll use their bait as cover.
Wow. This is America. Don't catch you slipping up. Don't catch you slipping. They count ripping up. This is America. Man, bro.
When I teleported over to Africa, there was discussion on whether or not Coconut Bee was going to actually help the news station. But Coco ignored the fact that the news team was being raided right now and was pretending like it wasn't happening.
So what I'm thinking is when that raid happens with the news team, we run up towards Brazil and run up north to Mexico, and we raid Mexico and take them. And then America will fall as a result. America won't have any allies with Mexico.
Would we send people to help the news station while they get raided?
No.
They're a small group.
No.
They may not be able to last.
The news team, unfortunately, they might go down.
There was not a single person on the server willing to help the news team, even though they had just done the entire world a favor by exposing America. The fact was, people were scared of messing with the most powerful countries in this event.
I don't agree with it. I think you should go save the dude.
But Mexico and the United States had reached the news tower, and if no one helped the news team right now, they were going to be raided.
Coming in. soon, bro.
Coconut Bee was torn on his decision. He promised that Africa would stand by the news team if they were to be raided, but if Coco raids Mexico right now instead, it would grant him access right to the USA. Does he keep his promise, or does he let the news team die?
Nah, f it. I'm making the executive call. We're not raiding Mexico anymore. We're gonna help Florida. We're gonna help the news team. We help the news team. We get them on our side.
Should we go into helis? Now or what? Or wait for you guys?
Yeah, go out and scout. Go now.
Only is 9 fuel.
Let me know what you see over there.
Oh, man, you took too long to
Mexico
make
and
the
OT
decision, though,
and
man.
America are raiding the news team because of free speech. Boys,
You need some drown?
let's go. Let's go. We're helping.
Well, you called it at the last second. It might be a little too late, though, man.
Africa rushed to America, but they knew they were running out of time because of Coconut Bee's hesitation.
We might be too slow.
Okay, nice. You got meds?
Will they get there in time? It's looking tough. Uh-oh. Oh, reinforcements!
Move in, Africa! Fall in with me! Africa! With me!
How do you want to approach?
We raid the raid base. We pummel that. Rocket this door right here, Honda. Go through doors.
I'm in there. Just make a hole in that shit. Make a hole in that base. No fucking rockets! What's that room, Pivot?
Now, Africa successfully took over Mexico's raid base, but they soon realized Mexico and the US were all the way over at the news station with the rockets.
Nice, boys. Get up, soldier. Get up. How many more bases are there?
We've taken out 2 so far. I think we're doing a good job.
Okay, we're almost done.
They were so far away from the tower and couldn't stop the raiders. And unfortunately, the news tower began to fall.
Damn.
Today was a dark day for the United States as free speech was taken from the country. The news station had fallen for speaking the truth. But this was a turning point for the event, as not only did all the Americans see the corruption here, but also the entire world.
We're gonna get revenge for you, brother. Trust me. The day will never, ever be forgotten in history. Africa will never forget the monstrosities caused today. Focus on rebuilding and getting the news back up.
Thank you. Thank you, Coco. Our people will be visiting you in Africa soon.
Now, there's still 2 massive countries on the server who haven't involved themselves with this war, Russia and Brazil. So I decided to check out Brazil's civilization to learn more about what they're up to.
Brazil?
I'm outside.
Oh!
Hey. No, there's something big behind the walls, right?
Yeah, last night we just chilling on the favela and build something crazy here. We are safe in Brazil, in South America. There is no enemies here. Come here.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Give me the tour. Oh my god. Brazil actually did build this insane football stadium in Rust. If you don't play Rust, you might not understand how expensive and time-consuming a project like this is. You guys did it. You guys actually did it. You built a whole stadium.
Bro, it's like 2 million stone.
2 million stone?
Yes.
You guys farmed all of that?
Come here. Let's touch grass.
Oh my goodness. Oh, this is so cool. Oh, I love that so much. Oh, that's so cool. Who's the bald guy?
You don't know who it is?
Is that,
You don't know who it is?
Is that Alistair?
Yeah.
That's Alistair. That's awesome.
Brazil
guys.
is
I
lit.
love this so much. Thank
Brazil
you guys
is
so
lit.
much.
Bro, we love you, bro.
Shout out to the Brazil squad.
So,
Amazing.
like 5 hours, in 5
That's
hours, okay?
fucking awesome.
What's in 5 hours?
We're gonna make a match.
Shout out to the Brazil team.
Goodbye, guys. Thank you.
We love you, man.
Awesome.
Now,
Damn.
Brazil genuinely doesn't want to fight any country on the server. So instead, they've built a massive stadium to hold football matches later as a way to bring the countries together. However, there is still one country in this event who they have unfinished business with, which was Mexico. You see, in last year's Global Warfare, the biggest raid in Rust happened with over 400 players. But during that raid, Mexico snuck off the battlefield to go raid Brazil, causing Brazil to leave the biggest raid ever to go defend their home. And since that happened at the end of the event, Brazil couldn't do anything about it and still holds this grudge. Furthermore, in this event, Mexico had created a border wall facing South America to prevent anyone from coming to North America. It was insulting to the South Americans, and there was still clearly some tension between Mexico and Brazil. And since Coconut B wants to raid Mexico today, he decided to speak with them about this.
You can't make this shit up, dude.
Hello, boys. Welcome to Brazil.
Howdy. Are you guys in good relations with Mexico?
Mexico like treat with us in the last event, and we don't like Mexico so much, and they're trying to steal our HQM today.
Oh, that's a shame.
Toddy explained that Mexico had been coming into South American territory and using their metal quarry, so Coco used this as an opportunity to convince Brazil to join the war.
Toddy, we want to raid Mexico today. My reason for wanting to meet today was if we raided Mexico, we was wondering if Brazil would come to counter.
No, we don't want to counter. If you raid Mexico, just go ahead.
Would you like to join us? Or would you, are you going to stay out of it?
In Portuguese, I'm kind of moleque neutro. I'm in the middle of the conflict, but I'm not choosing a side because I'm investigating what is happening around the world, because I don't want to choose. I don't want to choose the wrong side of the history, you know.
Brazil was very careful in deciding who they were going to support if they were to join the war. Yes, they hate Mexico and know the terrible things they're doing with the United States, but they know Coco is just as bad. I mean, they saw Coco yelling and executing people on the news episode yesterday. His bad past was haunting him and causing him to lose potential alliances.
We are listening
Coco was the bad man for that.
About your things with Mexico, just go ahead. I hate Mexico.
I definitely think there's a future talk where Africa and Brazil can work together. I understand you want to be neutral, and I respect that. I like that. But I think there's more work we could be done.
I will discuss this with my vice president and my guys. I'll talk to you later about it, okay? But
okay, as a token of Africa's appreciation for Brazil, we will bring you some of the skulls of the Mexico leaders. We love Brazil and Africa, and we want to work with Brazil.
Oh, okay, Coco, thank you. Appreciate it, bro. Take this School of Carnage for me, please.
He's calling niggas out.
Trophy at the middle of my soccer stadium.
I will give you carnage. He's
calling people out.
I'll give you carnage.
Now, this just goes to show how wholesome and peaceful Brazil is. As much as they hate Mexico, they don't want to alliance with the wrong country, and I quote, choose the wrong side of history. But Coco at least secured the rights to travel through Brazilian territory to fight Mexico, and Brazil would allow it to happen. Back over in America, the North American Alliance held a meeting in Canada to discuss what had just happened in their country. The US and Mexico raided the news without telling any of the US state leaders or Canada. But you see, it wasn't only the news that they raided, it was the entire state of New York, because there was plenty of other buildings surrounding the news station that were raided.
After I saw the breaking news, I launched an investigation together with my secret service. We found out that the news team has been conspiring with Africa. And as some of you may know, we have been fighting Africa. They have been coming to our territory, killing us. That is the reason we had to get them out of our land.
Is everybody happy with that explanation and stuff? Or
it's
is there
bullshit,
concerns?
but okay.
Or do we all kind of agree that the news is fake news?
You could tell there was some uneasiness at this table. The state leaders feared if they did something wrong, they could end up just like New York.
So then what's the grand picture after that? After the music?
I think we need to strengthen our alliances with Brazil. You know, they have a big force and it seems like they've been pretty neutral, pretty friendly, you know, people down there. I think that's a big one. I would say Russia is definitely an option to go and consider. I know there's some grievances or concerns about them, but it might be better to be their friends in the situation.
Jack Shepard wanted to ally with Russia. No one at the table was too excited about that because no one knows how to communicate with the Russians, and quite honestly, players feared them. So they were more willing to try out Brazil as the ally.
I could try to strengthen the U.S. bond with Brazil right now and go play soccer with them.
That might be a big one, Trot.
Not a bad plan.
The North American alliance had the exact same idea that Africa had, which was getting Brazil on their side. Brazil has insane numbers and could be a huge asset in winning this war. But Brazil doesn't want to involve themselves at all. Brazil is literally in the middle with both sides wanting them. Only time will tell how things will unfold.
Gentlemen, let's give a round of applause for the news team for surviving the onslaught from America. Let's welcome in Orleans. Welcome to Africa, news team. You are now under our safe asylum.
Thank you.
We will protect you and we will look after you like you are our own. Any help you need with news team, Africa will assist you. I'd also like to welcome our brothers from IT for joining the cause as well. Round of applause for IT, gentlemen. I'd like to thank everyone for coming to this meeting. I think we have a couple more brothers coming from BT coming to join us, but we need to clarify what's going to happen today after the world meeting. I want to invade Mexico so we can invade America. Is everybody on board with that here?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. We've already scouted out in Mexico and where they live. America is in shambles right now. They are separated. So we will take out Mexico, and then we will take out America, and we will run this world together. We are brothers and sisters in arms. Separated, we are weak, but together, we are strong. I always say this. We will always aim for peace in Africa. But if peace is not attainable, we'll aim between the eyes, gentlemen.
Yes, we'll aim for peace. If that's not attainable, we'll aim for that.
There's now two clear sides fighting each other in this world. On one side, you had the corruption of North America, which was made up of the United States, Mexico, and Canada. Or you could fight against the corruption and join Africa, India, and the British. Now we're going to see what countries around the world decide which side to join and how the story will evolve as more politics and raids take place. But little did everyone know, I was going to broadcast a video to the entire server that would change how everything could play out. The following video was sent out to all the players. Tomorrow, on day 3 of the event, everything will change, because we're introducing 3 nuclear bombs to the server. 1 nuke will be spawned in each section of the map tomorrow with a different event taking place for each one. It's very simple. Defeat the challenge and unlock the crate with the nuke, and it's yours to keep. But be careful, because the nuke has a live tracker on it 24/7, so any country can see who has the nuke, which will make you a threat. And this is what the nuclear bomb is capable of. The nuclear bomb has a massive radius, bigger than any monument in this game. Multiple bases can be nuked at once, making you the most powerful country in this event. 3 countries will be receiving a nuke tomorrow. Good luck.
Alright.
These 3 nuclear bombs now change the entire direction of this event and gives the players something to fight for. A new danger would be introduced tomorrow and could make any country extremely powerful. Now we continue to see how the politics and wars play out with this new information, and what better way to start off by hosting the first UN meeting of this event. For the first time in the event, all leaders from every country gathered in this building to peacefully meet together and discuss politics around the world. So much fighting and raiding is happening around the world, so this is the one place leaders would face each other where there would be no violence. Only the top 1% of players were invited. You're looking at the most elite and richest players with the most power on the server. So many different countries joined this meeting that it would be impossible for me to cover every single one in this video. But everything happening around the world would now be discussed in front of everyone.
I know, right?
Leaders of the world,
Fancy's a
Welcome to the
mad
UN
lad.
Islands and our brand new assembly hall. These daily meetings are
FancyOrb
for
is a
all of you
mad
to
lad.
openly discuss important topics, whether they be words of love or words of frustration. This is the platform we've created to give everyone a voice.
Russia wanted to speak first in this UN meeting, and what they were about to say was going to really get this meeting started.
Okay guys, listen to me guys, listen to me right now. We are at this territory guys. I advise you all to be friends with us or your resources will become ours. Thank you for your attention guys.
Who said that? Who said that right there?
Be cool or we'll crash out. Thank you very much. What a message.
Guys, listen, I'm from Russia, and I want to say, we're a very powerful black country. We will destroy your country one by one.
That was one of the last things you should say during a meeting in front of every world leader. It's uncertain why Russia would say this, but they were most likely prepared for the consequences.
Right, it came in hot.
Yeah. I'd like to talk about something, and I'm quite surprised that nobody hasn't really spoken about it yet. Today, there was a war waged on the American news team. They were attacked for simply stating the facts, and they wanted to broadcast to the world that the American election was rigged. And a fake leader was assigned to the position that is known as Tanza. Is Tanza in the room with us here today?
Hello. Mr. Coco.
Who elected you as president?
The U.S. States.
I did. Woo!
No.
Tonza elected
Thank you guys.
President. And then you attacked the news team for exposing this truth, and you tried to kill them. And you tried to kill them.
Shut up! You are barbar like Savarish. I will attack you just to sweep me.
Sit down in your chair. Sit down.
No, you can't do anything. You can't do anything here. I will kill you. Just wait me.
This is not your stage.
Coco's bad past was catching up to him, and he was about to be exposed in front of the world that he raided Arabia.
Coco, why did you raid Palestine? For what reason?
You're deflecting, but I'll answer to that. We came on the home soil to make peace, and they pointed a bow at my head, and a stone hatchet was thrown.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, so that's right. You're being a bit of a hypocrite, no?
How is that hypocritical?
How's that hypocritical?
To ask for peace and invite me to your country to try to kill me?
Right.
People are doing fake news against us. So
if they were doing fake news on you, why did you feel the need to kill them? Why did you feel the need to silence them and try to obliterate their station? I'm going to answer that question for you, Tanza. It's because you are not American. You are a spy. You do not.
He's right. He's right.
You are not a leader. You're a disgusting tyrant. And Africa
anyone is welcome to come and try against us. Come try against the USA.
Part of the U.S. have something to say. Hey, I run Florida. None of my Floridians were present during the voting election. I don't understand this.
You were both there. You, Vincent.
Yes, you were. Our people will not. Only 2 Floridians were there for the voting. I don't know.
Bro, you were at the
only leaders.
boardwalk. You were there.
Which gave no info about raiding news team. Did not go with any of the state leaders. The news team said it corrected. I'm one of the state leaders. Everything they said was correct.
Coop, you haven't been seen once. You haven't been seen once anywhere. What do you mean? Why do you think you would have an affair? You haven't seen once. I haven't seen you once.
What do you mean? I've been around this whole time.
Another American citizen. He has not.
I haven't seen you once.
Where?
In our you guys can try to do anything you want about it. What are you guys gonna do about it? What are you guys gonna do about it? There will be no election. I am running the United States.
Tanza was clearly acting like a horrible president in front of the world. He didn't even remember one of the state leaders who were at his meetings earlier. It was a lot to unpack, and so the UN had to step in.
Alright, let's get everybody to take a seat again, please.
You are PP.
Everyone, let's take a seat.
Could I ask everyone one thing? Are we just gonna ignore that Russia came in and they said they're gonna kill all of us? Should we just all team up and get them off real quick?
You see, Russia is a lot smarter than you think. They made that threat at the beginning to see who would be the first person to target them, and they left one Russian diplomat in that building to find that answer. And they just witnessed Coco try to unite the world against them.
All I'm saying is Russia came to the center and said, if we don't pay resources or tax, They'll kill all of us in here.
Yeah.
That's good. You live right next to him, so you can deal with it, Coco.
The UN stands with that. Russia are currently the biggest aggressor.
So I think before we end the meeting, there's one major topic that we are not covering, and that is the news that we just received of 3 nuclear missiles being released tomorrow. What's the strategy for how to handle the nuclear situation?
The UN plan to use the nukes to take out the biggest aggressors. The people that go against the peace, we have to fight for peace. So I think we all agree that Russia is the #1 aggressor. Russia is the #1 aggressor.
We do not agree.
I think if the UN acquired the nukes, we would have to hold an emergency meeting.
There was a lot of disagreement on who should be nuked tomorrow, but there's still plenty of time for many things to play out.
I think in summary of this meeting, we have red flags being shown in Russia and the USA alliance. We need to see how things play out the rest of the day, but as far as the meeting goes, our allotted time is up. We will end this meeting and re-adjourn tomorrow.
USA's growing, Albania! USA's growing, all is back!
After that meeting,
Just so y'all
Africa
know,
was
they
fed
kill
up
each
with
other
the
so they can
disrespect
spawn
and gathered
back
the
in their
entire
own bodies
continent to
wherever
begin
they're
their
at.
raid on Mexico.
So it
If
wasn't
they
just
could
like
destroy
they're icing the
Mexico,
hole
the
you
United
in,
States would be vulnerable without their closest ally. Coconut B would lead his team, the British, and India all together as TIA's first raid. And as a reminder, everything you see on your screen is live authentic gameplay from the event.
Africa! Are you ready to fight with me? Africa! Are you ready to shed some blood for our soil? Are you ready to destroy and win this event and become the rulers of the world? Fight for me as I have stood for you, and fight for me as I will fight for you. Let's die, but die in a glorious way, Africa. Together we are united. Let us show the world our strength. Let us show the world our resilience. Show them your courage. We're gonna show them our fucking nuts.
Bro, this is wild. I gotta turn them up a little bit.
Yo, stop! Stop! Go, 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 go! Exit! Get in the right, Get in this tower, get in this tower! Border patrol!
That's crazy. Mexico raided Africa's ally. So Africa began to attack them. What? Was the bounty also be able to invade the United States?
Now, if you don't play Rust or understand how big raids like this work, allow me to explain the 4 stages of a giant Rust raid.
Go ahead, explain it.
The first stage, getting the raid base down. That's right, the raiders build a base outside the raid so they can store their ammunition, meds, and backup kits, because most likely you're gonna die a lot during this stage. It's very hectic because not only are you trying to PvP and build bases, but also placing respawn beds for 50 plus other raiders.
Get 'em, boys!
Wait, we need space for beds!
And the most annoying part, there's always that one teammate who places their bed incorrectly, which takes up space. Don't be that guy. Stage 2, PvP. It's very simple. Once the raid bases are down, you fight.
Come down.
This is wild.
And then comes stage 3, the problem. Because there's always some kind of problem during a raid. The problem for this one, there was a tower from Mexico all the way across the battlefield that was perfectly angled towards the raiders. This tower was slowing things down, draining the meds and ammunition of the raiders. Its only purpose was to act as a distraction, and Coconut Bee knew they had to eliminate this problem.
I'm good. Who has the boom on them? Who has the boom on them? We're gonna go take that tower. I have ladders on me. How many rockets you have, team man, on you? How many? Let's go. Team with me. Flank team, let's move. We need to take that tower on the right side, and we need to work our way in. Easy now. Who's running towards them? Let's wipe these guys on the hill. We wipe them on the hill first. Get ready to wall, Africa. Let's help our boys. We got air support with us too. Let's move! All right, we're taking that tower 250. Men, with me! Let's go!
Bananas.
The flank team had made it to the tower, and as we've learned from Africa, they know a thing or two about taking down towers.
You know what to do here. Let's take this bitch out, boys.
Yep. Hey, go up ladders. Get up the side. Thank you, brother.
I'm slamming right here. I'm slamming right here at the door. Move. Right here.
Up on the hill. Wall behind us.
They're in that bitch. Right. This shit is so intense.
I'm going in on this rock. I'm going in.
Oh yeah, they're in there.
Preach.
Oh yeah, they're in there. Right.
With the problem now eliminated, the raid could officially start. This is our final stage, the rockets. Now it's all about doing the most amount of damage to this base.
Right, they're coming through. This is so fucking intense. This is insane. Right, oh. Carnage. Man.
1 hour and 12 minutes later is when this battle was over, and unfortunately, Africa had failed to raid Mexico. The United States was defending inside Mexico's base, and this was something Africa wasn't expecting. Furthermore, the US had helis of their own which they used to bomb the raid towers. The fact was, Africa didn't have enough numbers yet to beat Mexico and the United States. Coconut B needed more soldiers for this war, but what he really needed was Brazil.
Brazil is lit. Brazil is lit. The entire world is at war, and Brazil is just turned up. This is the greatest shit I've been doing. Bro! They're wild!
While the entirety of North America was at war, it was the complete opposite in South America. Instead of fighting, Brazil held a massive football tournament and was bringing the countries together.
This is live, man. They got fireworks jumping off and shit.
Coconut B and the news team met with Brazil as a last chance hope for Brazil to join the war. They know Brazil hates Mexico, so maybe there's a chance they would join the war after seeing the fail raid.
As I told you before, like, we have many complicated decisions to make. We are neutral in the middle of this big war happening. It's kind of complicated for me as a neutral, you know? I just don't want to see my people getting smashed by a nuke or things like that. You got it?
Toddy, here's the thing. I appreciate Brazil for wanting to be neutral and peaceful, but this nuke requires us to get our hands dirty. Because if the nuke gets in the wrong hands of a country, they can do whatever they want.
Oh, your hands are wrong!
But little did everyone know, at this exact moment, everything was about to change. Back in America, OT Tonza was about to release his own news episode since he raided and took control of the news station earlier. And this news episode, recorded by Tonza's clan OT, was posted live during the event.
Okay.
Good morning, America, and the rest of the world, of course. My name is Randall, and this is Channel 5 News. Unfortunately, in the early hours of Day 2 of Global Warfare, the previously looked up to global news ran by Brawlo unjustly spread a false narrative that our glorious president, Tonza, rigged the American election. They willingly chose to slander our current president's character. Therefore, Tonza has heroically orchestrated an eviction on Brawlo's news station. Now over to you, Tack.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching this, that only means one thing. The fake news media have been exterminated like the vermin they are. So let it be known, any discrimination, any manipulation, or any false narrative of our President Tonza will be met with swift violence. Everyone standing to my left, to my right, and underneath me in this base has actually been the oil team undercover. This entire time we've been dominating the server and you didn't even know it. So wake up, because we're getting all 3 of those nukes tomorrow.
What?
Do you remember earlier when I said, so this year we actually had to limit them to 5 members per country so they wouldn't destroy everyone again. So that was a legitimate rule we gave them in this event, and they decided to break it by changing their usernames and had 13 OT players in their base instead of the 5. This all started when Coconut B defeated OT in India. Tonza was filled with hatred that he actually needed to break event rules to beat Coconut B. For context, OT is a clan that has been featured in 14 of my videos garnering millions of views. You've heard me say it countless times, they're the best clan in Rust. But you see, this is the last video where you'll see OT in a FancyOrb video. The reality is, OT's reputation lately is terrible, and I've been slowly trying to step away from them. Now, I'm not here to air out their drama because I have some respect for what I've accomplished with them. Many of the people in the Rust scene know their allegations, and if you don't, it's out there. OT, we created history together, but as the person who created and gave you the title of the best clan in Rust, I can no longer stand by this statement anymore. The best shouldn't feel the need to cheat. And so, since they cheated and broke the rules in this event, we banned every single OT member off the server.
Wow! Fancy! Yeah, Fancy. Wow.
We're just letting look at the chat.
What?
OT just got killed.
What?
Damn,
okay. What?
Goodbye, OT. No way.
What? Wow. Wow.
Did anyone say Tonza didn't get banned, did he?
I don't know. I don't know who got banned.
No, Tonza didn't.
Damn! Off the wall!
We knew it was the right decision to ban them when the entire chat celebrated, because if there's one thing the entire world will agree on, it's that they hate cheaters. So let this be known to the community, don't ever cheat, especially when it's an event raising money for charity. OT crossed the line here, and unfortunately, they will have to live with these consequences.
Wow.
And with OT no longer on the channel, I think it's time to introduce my new friends who you'll see in future videos.
Why did they shoot
the
the oil
strongest
barrels?
clan in Rust, GA.
Why did they shoot the oil barrels though?
As Horse Gang.
Horse Gang! Dog, that is crazy.
And after OT got banned, it was like something was triggered inside the Brazilians.
Just give me a few seconds. Ô galera, olha só, eu tava pensando em te ajuda ele a botar no cu da Rússia lá só porque os mexicanos é um bando de filhos da puta.
Caralho, velho, os mexicanos tem que concordar contigo, irmão.
Papo reto.
Tem que botar no cu desses caras aí, vamos botar no cu.
Right. They can feel it.
Vai se fuder também. Beta com o rabo deles, pô.
So, I'm down to up Russia if you help me to nuke the Mexico.
Hottie. That's fine. Hottie.
Yeah. Wow, let's go.
I have some unfinished business with Mexico from the last time because they tried to raid us in the middle of the OT raid.
And we never forget.
Right.
It was now
Because in
official.
that last
Brazil
event,
was finally
Brazil got
convinced to join Africa in this massive war.
event.
They simply wanted their revenge on Mexico and was going
First
to
the
assist
UN was
Coconut
fucking with 'em.
the news team, the British, and
You know.
India to take out the North American Alliance.
This is crazy. Yeah. Then Mexico raided them at the end of the event. Yeah.
With OT Tanza banned from the server, America needed a new president, and Jack Shepherd was ready to take the lead. Some even argued that Jack did more as the vice president. He orchestrated the election, led the first conquest in Africa, and organized tons of meetings for this country. The Americans were pissed that their president was banned, which made this country a lot more dangerous. It was like a cult following, and the Americans looked to Jack Shepherd for guidance. This country was going to become a lot more aggressive with their new leader.
Carnage, come down here. Carnage is protected all of the Americans here. He's a great leader, and I would like to elect him as my Secretary of Defense. So he's going to be protecting the country from now on. And so our first order is we're going to go and figure out how we can go and deal with the situation in Africa. Coconut B likes to yap a lot, at the UN meetings and chat, but he hasn't really done too much so far, and I think we'd like to keep it that way. All right, guys. So I think that's going to be it for today. The meeting's adjourned. Thank you for coming out, and God bless America.
Mexico just became Secretary of Defense, meaning they now have a say in how the United States operates. And after Jack's announcement, the president of Mexico, Carnage, pulled him to the side for a conversation.
I guess, how do we want to go about things going forward for tomorrow's game plan? Do you got any ideas here?
Well, if you go to the Brazilian guys, are obviously allied up with
the level of corruption
even if
going on
they
in
agree
America
to help us out, I think they're gonna end up backstabbing
They're
us.
gonna double cross us.
So our best bet here is the Russians. We go to the Russians and we talk with them.
Yeah, they got 16 really good guys, so let's go and set something up with them tomorrow.
Carnage knew that the Brazilians hated them because of their history, so the only option to balance this war was to go to Russia. To close off day 2 of this event, I decided to visit Canada once more since this town was so creative. I mean, they had art museums, roleplay gas stations, and even a casino with a bar. You got the TVs as
they are wild
shows happening. How do you guys think of these things, man? But then Rexmore showed me their education system again. And if you remember earlier, Jack Shepherd had a problem with this and told the Prime Minister he had to fix it.
That's fine.
Come back down here. I want to see some revisions on that map. We need to have some respect for the United States.
Did you guys remove South Canada, West Canada?
Please,
Okay.
Yeah, you gotta come see.
That is the only way.
Yeah. We were actually just educating some people. You just missed the class.
Meeting. No, Jesus.
Oh my God, they updated.
What are you doing? Future. Oh
Southeast
my God.
Canada.
Fancy, you've seen how prosperous.
Upside down Canada.
How happy
I
everybody
blessed the
is,
waves
how
in
safe
Canada.
our streets are, how educated our citizens.
Oh my
and so eventually,
God,
through
man.
peace.
Southeast Canada.
Canada was still proudly calling Mexico and the United States Canada. And now that Jack Shepherd was the president, he was allowed to take action against Rexmore.
Where's Rexmore?
Shout out to
Where's
Canada,
Rexmore?
man.
What's going
All right,
on?
We'll give Canada another round of
I
applause.
told you about the school system. I was sent photos of more maps you've been drawing. This is unacceptable. We're gonna need to shut the school down.
This is you extending
This-
your reach unlawfully.
No, you keep expanding the Canadian maps. This is unacceptable.
It seems to me that your people don't necessarily agree with your actions. I think you are just as corrupt as the previous election, and I don't think your rule is justified.
Absolutely not. All right, so let's have a seat here. Let's figure out, I think there's a lot of energy going on. I think there might have been some miscommunications.
That's fine.
As much as I might not
You don't
like
go
your
to-
school system, we have bigger fish to fry.
At the recent UN
Do they
meeting,
really have
there was
heads
one
posted up over
country
the
that
thing, though?
declared war on the world.
We will destroy your country one by one!
However, if you're allied with Russia, that means you're just a forward operating base for the enemy. That's not something we can allow.
If the rumors were true that Jack was going to ally the US with Russia, Canada was going to step away from the North American alliance. People were losing trust in Jack Shepherd and the United States as a whole.
The Russians are strong. You want to be friends with the Russians, Rexmore.
We're not worried
if
about the
you like it or
Russians.
not.
If the nuke lands in North America, Canada will fight to take possession of it.
Okay, and what is Canada going to do with the nuke?
Ultimately, we want peace, Jack. But if peace isn't an option, the nuke will fall.
You're gonna drop it like right next door.
As you said, sometimes you have to make concessions and make allies of previous enemies, and I have more meetings with Africa coming up. I hope we can have peace, Jack, but if not, war is always an option.
Well, I mean, you're pretty much declaring war on us, so, you know, if we're gonna have a situation like that here, you know what I mean? I've given you multiple opportunities, and I'm kind of sick of playing games, so what's it gonna be?
Right, close the door! Say
if
less!
that's the case, then so be it, Jack.
Fuck the name! Goddamn Canadians! Right, fuck it.
USA!
Canada had declared war on the United States and broke the North American alliance. And right after this, Jack Shepherd gathered with Mexico and launched an invasion on Canada. Jack didn't care anymore. If you didn't do it America's way, then you were declared an enemy. The United States already had tons of enemies, and Canada was just one more on the list. And the United States and Mexico made it clear that Jack was the new president, and this is how things would be.
Jack was just out here bullying Jack. I ain't gonna look to another area and tell them how to educate their people.
Their main goal was to protect the parliament building, so they used tactics like the battle bus to slow them down.
Battle bus! Battle bus!
If Canada would have came down there and told John and Chance how you're educating your people,
but to retaliate, America brought out military helicopters to counter the Canadians.
See, that's what I be talking about. This is wild, man.
The US and Mexico were too strong, and many buildings were destroyed in the process, including Canada's school.
Told you guys to redraw the maps. You didn't want to do it. Now you gotta suffer. Welcome to America.
Since the Canadians were mostly role players, a lot of citizens lost their lives and bases during this attack. But the heart of Canada was still protected, and Rexmoor's Parliament building survived, which means Canada survives to tell the story to the world. At the end of day 2 of global warfare, there was a clear rivalry between two sides of the world. Many countries are starting to pick and choose sides, but everything will come down to which countries can secure the 3 nuclear bombs tomorrow. As everyone continues to form alliances around the world, we'll finally get our answers tomorrow on who will win this global war. So, let's continue our story on day 3.
Day 3.
Welcome to day 3 of global warfare. Today, 3 nukes will be spawned on the server that can wipe out entire civilizations in seconds. So, as the tensions on the server rise, let's go see what the players are up to. Surprisingly, we start off in a wholesome way because 2 lovers in Antarctica fell in love during this event.
And we shall all see that today. May our love continue to grow and inspire us all. I declare you husband and wife.
Wedding photo.
It's gonna be a global warfare wedding without a little chaos.
Right. Pulling up.
Tensions on the server were getting high on day 3. Africa had put up shops in every grid of their continent, naming them TIA. And to reciprocate, Russia did the same thing, titling theirs, the CIS has no borders. Things were getting very serious at the start of day 3. But the US President Jack Shepherd had the important task of getting Russia to join the United States and Mexico in this fight. Word was getting around that Brazil joined Coco, so if Jack can't score the Russians, they are screwed. Jack had arrived to Russia. This was the first time in the event anyone sat down with Russia to form an alliance. Players on the server were scared of the danger and mystery this country provided. I mean, after all, they threatened everyone at the UN meeting. One wrong word from Jack and Russia could be after him. Do you remember what the leader of Russia said when we first met him?
Maybe America will have some problems.
I appreciate you guys coming out today. Shecht, I appreciate your support. Nuclear war is upon us, and I wanted to see what Russia would like to do if they had received the nuclear weapon.
У нас есть несколько вариантов. Все зависит от того, сколько у нас из врагов сейчас только Африка.
The only real enemy they have right now is Africa.
All right. Yeah, we're on the same page for that. So if we get a nuclear weapon, we will also nuke Africa.
Мы вот забираем все эти бомбы, и нас придут рейдить там несколько альянсов. Они придут нам на помощь в случае чего.
So the question that arose right now is if they get the bombs, in the scenario that they get attacked by multiple alliances that want to take the bomb, are you willing to come to their defense, to their aid?
Absolutely. Yeah. The United States, Mexico, and will be there on arrival. We can start setting up FOBs and things like that very shortly too.
Кого вообще можно еще опасаться помимо Африки? Какие у них альянсы есть известные?
Is it known who Africa is allied with?
You guys, you've met Coconut B. It's kind of the major terrorist down there. You have Max Mears, and the only other group in question who has the firepower is Brazil. Could be allied with Africa.
Джек, собственно, мы хотим быть в альянсе вместе с вашими друзьями. Собственно, ваши друзья, наши друзья. Поэтому мы готовы к любому сотрудничеству.
We want to be in your alliance because friends of friends should be friends and enemies of enemies are also friends. And it will be greatly beneficial for both of us.
Absolutely. So let's make it happen, people.
Jack actually pulled off the impossible, and the United States was now in cahoots with Russia. This was huge for the US and Mexico, and being the cocky, evil president he is, Jack Shepard and the Russian leaders went to visit Brazil.
This is where Coco messed up. Because, right, they're pulling up with the Russians in their
Now, this was a psychological mind trick Jack was playing on Brazil. With him bringing his brand new Russian alliance on Brazilian soil, he was pretty much signaling to the Brazilians, hey, we have Russia on our side, so you should join us so we can win this war.
Hello, everyone.
I want 3-0. I don't.
Hello.
Welcome to Brazil. Good morning.
Great to be here. Love soccer and football. Very, very cool.
Yeah,
so we came out here today because, there's nuclear war upon us, and we just wanted to see where you guys stood in the world. You guys have been a pretty friendly country. We just wanted your thoughts. If you guys were to receive a nuclear weapon, where do you guys stand?
This was extremely intimidating. Jack was threatening Brazil while not actually threatening them. Brazil is the first country in the world to learn that Russia was now with the United States. Both sides were playing it cool, not revealing their hand just yet.
Fala pro gringo aí, irmão, que, pô, a gente aí ainda não se decidiu aí que lado tomar, entendeu? Faz de moleque neutro, faz de...
Basically, what my president said is that we will stand neutral on this fight. We don't want to get involved in anything, at least not for now. We are just interested in hosting these awesome games on this incredible stadium and have everybody have a good time.
Они нейтралы, они хотят быть типа Швейцарии, они хотят просто...
Окей.
Eu entendo, tá ligado? Só me falta palavra pra falar, entendeu? Mas ó, como a gente tá moleque neutro nessa parada aí, caco ela aqui e deixar ela aqui pra ninguém ser estourado, tá ligado?
My president said we have been aware of everything happening on the world. We know Russia has been doing malicious things. We know Africa has been doing some bad things too. We know USA is corrupt. And
whoa. Okay. Yo,
Yeah,
so
Jack, don't complain.
we need to
You're
address
corrupt.
this. Yeah,
You're corrupt as fuck.
good people do bad things, right? It doesn't make them, bad people or, bad
Quit trying
nation
to explain
leaders.
it
I
away.
know there was issues
Jack,
with the election, and
you
there
guys are
was
dirty.
a Thanos snap or an assassination, for OT and stuff, but I was fairly voted into office, and we don't have any corruption in our system. We just want to protect the rest of the world. You might think Russia's bad, or, the United States is bad, but the real evil is Coconut B and Africa, and they will use that weapon.
Now, Jack just cut off the Brazilian translator, and one thing you don't do is disrespect the Brazilians, because that pissed them off even more.
Eu não confio nem na África, nem na UN, nem na puta que o pariu, tá ligado? O bagulho vai ser aqui e acabou. E se tentar entrar aqui pra pegar da gente, vai ter sangue, cara. Porque a gente quer
That is my president!
Se quiser tentar tirar daqui, vão levar, tá ligado?
É isso, porra. É isso mesmo, caralho.
É isso, caralho. É isso, caralho.
What is he saying, Joe?
since we have been hearing about the world, we don't trust any of the world right now. We just want to keep the nuke secure and safe. If someone came over here to try and take the nuke, blood will be spilled.
All right. Yeah, unfortunately, that's not going to work for us. It seems like you're going to come and contest us, so I guess we'll just meet at that bridge when we come to it. Because it does not seem like we're on a peaceful stance here. This does not seem neutral whatsoever.
That was actually what they said was absolutely neutral. You just want them to be on your fucking squad. That was completely
It was safe
neutral.
to say that negotiations did not go well, and Brazil was
Shepard just
sticking to
wanted
their
them to bow
side.
down.
It was
That's
arrogant
all
of
that
Jack
was,
to reveal
man.
his hand so
You
soon that
motherfuckers.
Russia was joining them, because
Oh,
Brazil
shit.
immediately took this information and notified Coconut B and the alliance members that Russia was joining the war. And this caused a little panic in Africa, because in less than 2 hours the nuke event would happen, and they didn't have enough people to take on the US, Mexico, and Russia.
We have an hour and 40. We gotta lock in, boys. Everyone that's doing nothing, find something to do. We have an hour and 40 till the nuke. Lock in.
Africa made it their goal to recruit every single country on the server, and with Russia joining the war, it was a lot easier to make alliances, because quite frankly, a lot of countries on the server already hate Russia. It first started with Japan.
Yo!
Yeah, suck my coconut!
Russia enemy, Russia's enemy. Russia is your enemy. Russia is my enemy too, Japan. Dude, that's big.
And then Canada.
I can smell the maple syrup.
Yes.
Join our cause.
We will fight with you. It was a pleasure meeting.
Let's bring world peace. Let's bring world peace to this nation.
And Australia hates Russia as well.
Yo, Australia, you guys here?
We're the only remaining Australians.
Oh, shit.
We are simply...
I think we came to the wrong place. We'll see you guys later, man.
Africa spent the next hour going around the entire world recruiting any country they could find to join the war. And because of the growing danger and power the US had, Africa managed to bring in 5 more countries to join their side. All the alliance members Coconut B had gathered met in the UN building one final time before the nuke event.
So let's formally introduce all the countries that are here today. Can we get a round of applause for BT? Can we get a round of applause for IC as well. Japan is here as well.
This is how
The
it's
United
supposed to
Nations.
These cats are in the United Nations.
We have America here.
Kentucky disbanded from America.
Joining us.
And Australia.
And Australia.
That's
My
hilarious.
apologies. That was the last second. My apologies, Australia. As well as Argentina, I believe.
That's
Thank you,
hilarious.
world leaders, as well as the news team. We have organized amongst ourselves and gathered you all here to address one issue. We have very, very, very bad people out there unifying as we speak. If those 3 get the nuke, I cannot say it'd be a very safe place for the world, which is why we decided to gather everybody in this room together to unify and formulate a plan that we can all agree with to obtain world peace. I would like to invite Brazil to the stand right here to discuss their problems and their world issues.
Da neutralidade no meio disso tudo. Nós ouvimos todos os lados pra poder fazer a baguncinha aí, tá ligado?
President Todi said, since we have been neutral all this time, we have been hearing from all the world the problems and the conflicts. And that's why we stand here today with all of you and Coco to make the world a better place.
Japan, I'd like you to invite you to take the stand. Japan.
We live in Japan and we get raided twice by Russia. So we want to arrive with everyone and Japan want to raid Russia.
The leadership of Jack Shepard has allied with the Russians, so we are here today to fight with not only you, but the world.
Let's invite Coop's Trailer Park boys to the center.
Yeah, okay, I'll tell you right now. Basically, we're the trailer park in America, and, you know, when you got your president alliancing with the Russians, it ain't gonna sit well with us, so
get it done.
And, we're with y'all. Hell yeah.
Get it done.
All right, team, the center is yours.
Just want to say that we are all happy that the greater evil yesterday has been removed, but obviously we have all found out that there is another greater evil in this world. We're all here united to now face that evil.
BT, are you here with us right now?
You know we are. This has been a fantastic event. I joined this server and every single person in this world told me, oh, you're living next to Coco. You're going to have a great wife. This man has unified Africa. It has become a haven of peace and tranquility. We stand with Coco, and we stand against the Russians.
Thank you so much, Max.
Coco's biggest mistake.
Thank you, Coco.
Hollering at the Russians.
Thank you so much for the speeches, everybody. It unites us in a way I can't explain. All of us are gathered here in this room because we all have common enemies and common problems. And the biggest problem, that being, is the nuke. We need to formulate a plan. The nuke is going to happen in 40 minutes. I trust that the countries have established their militaries and have gotten ready for the big war. We don't know where the nukes are going to be. We don't know when it's going to be. We don't know how it's going to be. But one thing we can assure is we are all prepared and unionized. The plan is to try to get 3 nukes. Not 1, not 2, but 3 of the nukes. To which we could say, Russia, the fake president, and Mexico.
Damn.
We nuke those 3 countries, and we will obtain. I remember when Russia took the stand at the United Nations meeting, and what did they say? They said they taxed us, and we didn't give the stuff back to them. So what I say is, we'll nuke them. We'll meet them with a bomb. As world leaders, we should all always aim for peace. But if peace is not achievable, we'll aim between the eyes. Fire with great. I agree.
He loves that line. It's a good line.
This is not BT, this is not IT, this is not Japan, the UN, Canada, Coos Trailer Park Boys, or Brazil. We are the world, united, brothers and sisters in arms. We will shed blood so we can have peace.
Right.
So here's the situation right now. On one side of the world, you have the Axis powers made up of the United States, Mexico, and Russia with a combined power of 220. And on the other side, you had the Allies made up of Africa, Brazil, England, India, Canada, the UN, Japan, the news team, Australia, Argentina, and the state of Kentucky, all with a combined power of 242. This was an insanely close war, but everything comes down to who can acquire the 3 nukes. So as all the allied countries went back to their bases and geared up their soldiers for war, they came up with a plan. They would split up their countries to fight for every single nuke spawning on the map. So before we spawn the nukes, here's a quick recap of how things will go. 3 nukes will spawn on the map, 1 on the left side of the map, 1 in the middle, and 1 on the right. That way it's evenly spread across the world. There's a different event happening at each nuke that the players will have to defeat, but with hundreds of players going after each nuke, it's going to be extremely difficult. The nukes can't be used until 2 hours has passed, and since they can be seen on the map, the whole world will know which countries have the nukes, which means they'll have to defend the nukes for 2 hours until they can be used. So, let's see where the nukes will spawn.
Dog, if one would have spawned on Antarctica, that shit would have been lit. Alright.
The right side nuke spawned in Asia, which meant Russia and Japan immediately fought for this one. A convoy unit was guarding this nuke with NPCs, armored vehicles, and 2 tanks. But due to how powerful Russia was, they easily pushed back Japan and had control of the nuke very quickly. All they had to do now was protect the crate with a nuke and wait the 5-minute timer. Russia had defense surrounding the entire area. It almost would be worth it to just go after the other nukes because Russia had established their dominance here. But there's still 5 minutes to see if anyone challenges them. The nuke that spawned on the left side of the map landed right in between North America and South America. Brazil, the UN, and the news team would be fighting Mexico and the United States with the late Canada flanking from behind. And this quickly turned into a massive fight. There were attack helicopters everywhere shooting down all the camper vans to prevent players from respawning. This was arguably one of the most important nukes to fight for because you had both sides of the world fighting for the most powerful weapon on the server. The middle nuke had spawned in between Europe and Africa, but since there were no strong European countries in this event, Africa had easily secured this nuke by using their air force to take out the NPCs. However, Max Mears, the leader of England, had arrived to the nuke first, before Coco and India, and their next problem was agreeing on who would be the one to hold the nuke.
BT's gonna take this back to our base, okay? It's the most secure base here.
How's Brazil doing? Do we know?
Guys, all of you go to Russia. All of you go to Russia. BT can hold this easy.
We don't have enough time. We don't have enough time. They're gonna get it.
Yeah, that may be funny, but we're taking this one. It's very funny, but we're taking this one.
Yeah, I think it's best we take this one back to our base, then we try and get you guys one.
Whoa, Max. We never agreed on this.
Well, it doesn't matter if you agree or not.
Oh, how much time are you guys gonna waste arguing over the nuke?
That BT and I team would get this one, and then Coco's team, you guys will go and like hold a different one, and then we can back you up after.
But Max, why do you want the nuke?
Why do you guys want it? Why do you want it, Coco?
We just want to hold it, Max.
Brazil has their nuke.
Brazil has the nuke. Max, don't do this right now. Let us take the nuke.
Why are you? Why?
Brazil had control of the nuke, but their next problem was getting out of this battlefield alive and bringing it home.
These motherfuckers need your help. You got one nuke. Go help Brazil. It doesn't matter who fucking holds the nuke. As long as you guys are in the fucking an alliance. Now, if you can't trust them with the nuke while you're in an alliance, that means you were gonna do some bullshit.
Into the forest, but Mexico and the United States were surrounding them.
Right. So Brazil's getting wiped.
And Brazil went
These
down with the
motherfuckers
nuke.
want to argue over the goddamn nuke.
Oh, you're making this difficult, Coco.
Idiots.
No, we're on the same team here, bro.
What the
Max,
fuck, man?
I'm sorry.
Goddamn, Coco, you just blew it. Look at you. Now y'all about to fight each other?
We just want to hold it.
Oh my god. Oh my god. I can't believe this.
Max, I think we're taking this one, Max.
This is the dumbest shit ever.
Max, we're shooting.
And then what? You're gonna throw the nuke at us after as well?
No. I'll throw it out of Mexico, but we want the nuke.
How badly do they outnumber us?
They all have the high ground and the outside. We'll lose if we fight.
Oh my god.
You became very, very hostile and said we're taking this.
You're already losing 2 nukes because you're arguing over one.
Wait, the nuke goes at Mexico and I throw it. Yeah?
Deal.
Take it.
Max,
take it.
Back it up, buddy.
We can't. We don't have enough to kill him.
Africa was on the verge of throwing away the entire
already
TIA
thrown it away.
movement,
They
which
took too
shows how
goddamn
stressful
long.
this moment was during the event. Russia had safely secured their nuke, and Africa secured theirs, which means it's 1-1 now. It all comes down to who's getting the final nuke between North America and South America.
Right, and Brazil is flanked on both sides with no backup. Because you guys want to sit over there and argue over the one nuke that y'all already have secured.
Wasn't looking good for Brazil and the other allied powers. The United States and Mexico, with both their powers combined, was too powerful, and with no backup on the way, Brazil was being surrounded.
Right. They blew it.
Mexico had taken control of the nuke, and North America began retreating back to their continent. All they had to do was run it back to their base. The Brazilians tried stopping them, but they were so scattered it was no use. But when Mexico got to their border wall, all of a sudden, there was a resistance.
Oh, they finally showed up.
Helicopters from Africa came at the last second, shooting all the rockets they had to prevent that nuke from crossing the border. But unfortunately, it wasn't enough. The nuke had made it far enough, and Mexico had control of the third nuke. Now, this was both good and bad for the Allied powers. Good because they secured a nuke, but also bad because the Axis powers had control of 2 nukes. But they can't be used right away. All nukes have a 2-hour cooldown until they can be used, which means the Allied powers are gonna have to take one of the nukes by force. The Allied powers held a quick meeting at the UN. The 2 hours was running down fast.
That was tense. That was tense.
It's okay.
We
it's
can't
okay.
deny.
No, I have a plan. Mexico cannot use that nuke if we're outside their base sieging them. It's a 2-hour cooldown on the nuke.
Okay.
We already have 1 nuke. We raid Mexico to try to get that second nuke. When the time is up, we nuke Russia. And Russia will likely use their nuke on Africa. We'll die, but we'll be able to get that 1 nuke out, which we can use to finish off Mexico or America. They can't use that nuke if we siege them and hold their exits. They can't. Max, I haven't forgotten that. I haven't forgotten. I'm gonna give you that nuke to raid Mexico if we fail. But this is the way we can ensure we all win. Mexico and Russia have obtained the nuke. I say we raid Mexico. They cannot use the nuke if we are outside their base. We raid them for 2 hours. And if we can't get the nuke, we just keep pummeling. And when those 2 hours up, we send a nuke over to Russia. We just bring all our rockets, bring everything. This is an all-in. Everyone get your people, get your rockets, get beds. Come to Africa. We need to go now. I'll see you guys on the battlefield. See you soon in Africa.
Let's go.
Let's go.
That's tough. Like I said, they blew it, man. They were sitting over there spending all that time arguing over the 1 nuke. Once they got it, they should have been on the move, man. That shit ain't even gonna do him any good now. I mean, this is a good fucking strategy though. But this is a desperation move. Like they got scaffolding on the outside of the building to catch like all the little random rockets and shit. Little players that just raised 280. Insane. That's amazing. Wow.
Coco's plan was working. As long as the pressure stayed on Mexico, they weren't going anywhere with that nuke. With hundreds of players outside their base rocketing and firing their weapons, there was no chance Mexico was going to risk taking that nuke outside. Which means there's only 2 other nukes on the server, and this is now an even playing field.
You going underground? No. Didn't he say that better revive and you can see where it is, right?
Distraction. You see, Chad, I knew we weren't going to get into Mexico. You think I'm that stupid? You think we can raid a Mexico's compound? No. The whole thing was a distraction. It was to hold them long enough so we can get it off.
Coco was trying to pull off the impossible. The nukes were now active, so Coco sent 5 of his best soldiers to nuke Russia, take Russia's nuke to bomb Mexico, and take Mexico's nuke to finish this war by nuking America.
They literally went... Oh, man.
But there was one problem. The nukes are live on the map, and everyone saw it moving. And Russia wasn't stupid, because with one click of a button, it was very obvious the nuke was following the underground train's pathway.
Right! See? Man! Oh my god, dude! I can't believe this.
Подходят. Якудза, по моему пику, я начинаю стрелять, потом пикаете.
Че, они в метро, пацаны?
I just took as many choppers as I could and just tried to fly it over. What? Being in the tunnel? No. Being in the tunnel, that's how we want to eat. Yeah, they walked right into an ambush.
Кто это у нас? Да, дурак.
Вот, ящерка. Забрал. Ящер, послушайте.
The nuke was lost. Africa had just FedExed their nuke right to Russia. Coco's plan was a complete misstep.
God damn.
When everyone on the server realized what happened, all hope was lost. That nuke was their only hope, and now that the enemies had it, the war was coming to an end. To put it simple, Coconut Bee was the one who brought the world together, but in the end was the one who failed them. But there's one thing to remember. These are live, unscripted events. Anything can happen. The intention of the global warfare events is to bring together every country around the world where everyone fights to represent their community. And you, the viewers, get to enjoy the storyline that comes with it. Sometimes the good guys win, and sometimes the bad guys win. But at the end of the day, the main message behind global warfare is that no matter what country you're from, we're all human. Everyone RP'd their hearts out and created pure cinema entertainment, which makes this so beautiful. Remember, at the end of the day, everyone here is playing a character, and whether they're a hero or a villain, what you witness is the creativity of the Rust community. So with that being said, there's only one thing left to show you to complete this story.
Yes, sir.
Let's go see who gets nuked.
Let's see it.
Russia was up first, and what they were about to do was truly extraordinary.
Let's put an end to it.
Russia was going to make the ending memorable by taking over 14 attack helicopters to nuke Africa. One of these helicopters held the nuke. If that exact helicopter was shot down, the nuke was lost. It's a 7% chance, but they were willing to risk it for this cinematic experience.
Your best bet, because the nuke appears on the map, so everybody knows where it's at.
Под нами птички, надо их ебашить вам, ребят. Левее, левее. Вам надо аккуратно дом прогрузить. Аккуратно нужно дом прогрузить.
As for Africa, all soldiers reported back to defend this continent. They knew Russia was coming after them. With the nuke slowly inching closer and closer on the map, the people of Africa embraced their final moments of this land. It was a challenging moment for the people of Africa because many of them lost all hope to fight because of losing the nuke. It was a very emotional moment. But there was one man who was there to lift the spirits of everyone, and I don't even have to say his name. You already know who it is.
If today's the day we died, and so be it, Africa. Don't put your fucking heads down. Lift your heads up. If we die, I'm glad to say I've lived a full life. I'd rather die with you brothers than live with anybody else. You've all done me proud, and you fought your ass off. And I thank you and commend you for it. Let this day be the day that the world knows that Africa tried. It doesn't matter if you take our guns, our home, our gear sets. As long as we have a rocket torch, we will continue fighting! That's the one! That's the one! That's the one!
Curtains. Curtains.
Yes, at least here! Yes!
Yep.
Insane. Fucking rush, man. This was amazing.
Coconut B wasn't the perfect protagonist, but he damn sure was an entertaining one.
Coconut.
The war was over.
Coconut
Africa
B
had fallen.
was
but
that
there was
guy.
one
He
thing
just
that stayed in the
made
hearts of
little
everyone.
missteps, man. But he was that guy. That's what's up. This was good. This was so good.
The only question on everyone's mind was who was getting nuked next. With it being Mexico's turn to nuke the next country, everyone knew exactly who they were going for.
Mexico nuke moving. Mexico
frame loan.
Wait, really?
Mexico nuke is going
to Brazil. Mexico took a fleet of attack helicopters and started making their way down the map. And at this point, everyone knew exactly what was about to happen.
Right. Fucking Brazil. Damn. I know, right? That shit, man. They built the dopest thing in the game. Man. Curtains.
But it was a supply signal.
What?
This nuke wasn't for Brazil. It was going to the UN.
No!
Ladies and gentlemen, the Brazil versus Mexico rivalry will have to wait until Global Warfare 3. Mexico wasn't going to do it the cheap way. No, they wanted to be a fair fight and put a proper end to their story for next year. And so, this nuke was for the UN, the main group who enabled Coconut B and allowed him to organize massive raids on Mexico. It was extremely symbolic. In a way, it was like the UN was taking the nuke for Brazil, apologizing for what they did last year. But now that Brazil and the UN have a common enemy here, Mexico, who knows where this storyline will go.
Wow.
The second nuke of Global Warfare 2 goes to the UN. It was back to Russia for the third nuke. However, it didn't go quite as expected. Russia went to nuke a local Germany team that they had a small rivalry with in this event. However, they completely missed the nuke and it landed in the water.
Oh, he missed! He missed! It's in the ocean.
Oh my god, he missed!
Wow.
And it's safe to say that they got clowned out pretty hard in the chat. And that concludes the story of Global Warfare 2. But don't worry, there's many more to come. This series is just getting started. If you made it to this point in the video, I'd like to ask that you subscribe and help me hit 1 million subscribers. This project took months to create. And before we finish the video, here's some final words from our characters.
We want to say to everyone, thank you for inviting us to this event. Thank you to everyone who helped us. This is a very important event for us, for Russia, for CIS community. Usually we fight among ourselves in the CIS community, but now what CIS community can do together if they all in one place and all with one goal. So thank you everyone from all these guys.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Chris and I'm very happy with the way it worked out. We couldn't have done it without such an amazing team, honestly. I mean, you can't impress everyone. And everybody's always looking to point the finger. And most people want to point the finger at the UN.
We had a beautiful storyline of redemption with Brazil. We made some really great friends with them, so.
Mexico will not give in, Mexico will not surrender, and Mexico will not lose to tyrants. Those are my words to the world. And thank you also for the crazy events that you do, man. Every year you bring all the Rust community together, man.
You win, I guess. Yeah, you and Mexico win.
You're damn right I win. Without Mexico, we would have been, we would have probably been screwed, I would say. Mexico was a huge saving grace.
You did great, you guys.
Yeah, no, thank you so much, man. No, it was a lot of fun playing with you guys.
Fancy, like this year, we try something different. We try something new.
They were
we try
lit.
to welcome everybody around the world to come to Brazil and play some football with us.
The fucking football
But
stadium.
in the next year, it's about revenge.
Was amazing.
I will revenge Mexico for all things that Mexico is doing with Brazilians. You will see another side of Brazil.
Honest to God, bro, if I could do it all again with everybody and have it go out the same exact way, I'd do it fucking 7 days out of 7 days, 365 days out of 365 days, bro. What you created here, Fancy, is so special, man.
Yes, sir.
I'm glad you created a server I can come on and play with my community like this, dude. It feels like we're a family over here. We didn't go out the way we wanted to go out, but hey, man, we gave it a real shot, boys, huh? TIA, boys! TIA!
That shit was entertaining.
I'm looking to add new characters, new countries, and new players to the Global Warfare series.
Sir.
So if you want to play in future events, join my Discord below. We raised money for charity, received our own Rust skins, and achieved a beautiful storyline this year. So thank you for watching, and stay tuned for Global Warfare 3 later this year because these events keep getting bigger and bigger. And if you want to rewatch last year's Global Warfare, it's on your screen now.